Go.
Cut the fix Xbox, baby. See me gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared and expert. And now, when I'm Forza, I can tell tuned into the channel. Cut the with some X, switch up. For war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't get scared now. I'ma destroy you when I'm Forza, I can tear down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down.
Welcome everyone to The Fix. This is our first show of the year. Thank you guys for being here with us. And man, I hope you guys have had a nice year, start to your year. And I mean, it's been a crazy 2024 already, actually. I mean, Cat Williams out there going wild, telling on everybody and being a truth teller, you know, and everything's going crazy out here. You got Stephen A. Smith going in on Jason Whitlock, which I loved, by the way, because can't stand Jason Whitlock, but man, thank you guys for being here again. We're joined by great guests tonight, myself and Daniel McGee.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And I want to make sure if you guys can hear us. I already checked, but I want to make sure because you know how it is with OBS. So if you guys can hear everybody, please let us know, and if you can't, let us know as well. And tonight, like I said, we got 3 guests. Dusty Uno, if you guys might know him, will be joining us as soon as he can make it in, which might be about 30 to 40 minutes later. But tonight we have my man Garuda Intruder. What's up, Garuda?
Hey everyone. Yeah, I've been tell you what's been up. I had, those terrible gaming funks you can get into after you complete a big, massive game. I had that after I completed Starfield, and I was lost. I didn't know what to play. Man, I would try all these different games on Game Pass, Steam, whatever. Nothing would grab me. I was completely burnt out after Starfield. So you know what? I went and I thought, I'm going to watch this Blue Eye Samurai that everybody's been talking about. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of series or anything like that. I prefer to spend my screen time on games, right? So I watched Blue Eye Samurai, and let me tell you, that is the best thing I've ever watched on TV. It is amazing. So if anyone has even a passing interest in sort of feudal Japan style anime, extremely adult sort of themes, watch that series. It is absolutely incredible. So that's what I've been doing. And then I finished that up, and then that refreshed me. So me and my son, we've been playing, I've never played through the Remnant games, and of course they're on Game Pass now. So we just finished up Remnant from the Ashes, the first one, and the DLC. Oh, man, anyone who's played that DLC, we were playing on Nightmare difficulty, and, dude, I rage quitted the last boss on that, man. That is so hard, bro. Yeah. I don't have the Twitch reflexes for that. Like, my son, he's a grown man, believe it or not. He's really awesome at, these Souls-like kind of games with the dodge reflexes and stuff, so he kind of carried me through most of the game. But we've started on Remnant 2 now, and that's just a better version of Remnant 1, and like absolutely loving it already. Some of my favorite games ever. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, man. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for joining us. It's been a while coming because I asked you before in the past, but I believe you had work or something of the nature. So yeah, it didn't work out. But fortunately, and luck is in our favor tonight. I'm going to repost this advert so make sure people see this. But yeah, so with Blue Eye Samurai, like how many episodes is it with that? Like 8 episodes or something like that, I think.
Bro, I think. Well, I already forgot. It's been a little while. I think I finished it up a few weeks ago. I think it's 8 or 10.
Okay.
8 or 10. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It just keeps getting better and better and better. It's not all straight out action either, you know. The action scenes are incredible and very graphic, but the themes that it touches upon are extremely heavy. Like there was one particular part where, you know, I'm not easily moved by, you know, movies and watching a TV show, but I was quite shocked a couple of times watching this series. Like just how touching and moving and heavy some of the topics are. It touches on everything from no, I don't want to spoil anything. Just watch it. It is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, for me, I make it my business to kind of spot, I guess, plot devices and things of that pretty fast. So I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, I see where they're going with this. But from what I saw, it was pretty decent. I didn't watch it all the way through. And when I did watch it, I was dozing off at parts because I was so tired. So I have to give it a better shot and check it out again. But
yeah, it definitely wouldn't be for everyone. I could see that it's quite heavy. It is a little slower at times, but yeah, for me personally, I just think it's the best thing I've ever seen. So yeah, there's that.
That's good, man. But you don't normally, do you even watch anime like that normally?
I don't, man. I look, some of the old classic stuff, you know, when I was a kid and stuff, I love like Akira. I remember getting that on a VHS tape and just being blown away. Yeah. I used to watch this. This is a really obscure one, but I don't know how many people would know this. But I used to watch this Mad Bull. You haven't seen the Mad Bull series? It's like a late '80s anime, you know, good cop, bad cop kind of duo. What was it called? Mad Bull 43 or something. It was wild, man. Like everything was uncensored. Like I used to watch a lot of the old school stuff, but not a lot of the modern stuff. So
was it Mad Bull 34?
Yeah, man. It was a crazy show, dude. They hold nothing back in that series. But yeah, I watched that when I was like 8 years old. I think that corrupted me for the rest of my life.
Why in the world were you watching it at 8?
Dude, I don't know. Like my uncle had all the I got the VHS tapes out of my uncle's little cabinet thing, and I thought, oh cool, what's this cartoon? I started watching it. I was like, holy shit,
yeah,
dude,
it's a lot of violence and gore in there, and
bro,
everything.
and other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it was cool though.
Mad Bull 34, which is Donald Duck Garuda into who we know him as now. No, I'm joking.
Bro, yeah, that was wild. Yeah, I can't believe anyone even knows that. So yeah, it's cool.
Oh, hey, no, I'm an old head when it comes to anime. So like Danny doesn't know anything about that. You know, he's a young whippersnapper.
I ain't never heard of Mad Bull.
Yeah,
never heard of it.
Mad Bull, bro. You watch it and then imagine watching it when you were 8 or 10 years old. It's wild, dude.
I think it's part of the training you all have to go through for Australia to survive out there, though. So you probably needed that. Like, oh,
bro, we took anything we could get.
Spider won't take me away. I've learned. I need to learn from Mad Bull 34. So
I better ride my kangaroo to the video store and get me some Mad Bull 34.
Exactly. But Hargeet, my man, what have you been up to? And introduce yourself to the folks and tell everybody what you've been up to and what you're going through and what you're about to do.
Yeah. So it's been an eventful week. I've been playing Persona 4 before it leaves Game Pass.
Nice.
Persona 3 is leaving as well, but there's a new one coming, right? The remake or whatever. So
yeah,
I'll just play that when that comes out. But yeah, I've been trying to get through that one before it leaves on the 15th. And last night I started feeling a little sick. I don't know if it's COVID or something, but my lungs were very unhappy. So I might be going on mute every now and then, coughing up a lung. But other than that, yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing, and been in plenty of podcasts about this stuff, and there's plenty more to come. Yeah. We've got a nice little thing for Xbox next week, and then we started this week with some interesting news, right? So we'll get into it. But I don't watch TV and stuff. I just play games.
Yeah, we'll put that on the tombstone. I don't watch TV and stuff. I play games. Here live.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just like since the pandemic started, I've like, I don't know, like 700-800 movies or something like that, DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I just, for some reason, once the pandemic started, I just like totally shut it off. I just could not get any interest in watching anything.
Bro, I'm with you. Like sometimes I'm watching a movie or a TV series and I'm like, this is time I could be spent playing games. Yeah, and that's why I don't watch TV.
I'd just rather play something and it's just like, whatever.
Yeah. I will admit at a time I did have like a drought where I wasn't playing anything. So I do kind of relate to what you're saying. Funny enough. But I've been trying to get out of that funk and watch some things. Went back and bounced back to like older movies like Mystic River and stuff like that. I don't know, just watching anything. But
Yeah, I did the same thing. I watched Nausicaa Valley of the Wind
Nice.
the other day. I don't know if you remember that. It's a really
Yeah.
old one. It's amazing. Yeah.
It's one of them there Ghibli's.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It's the only Ghibli one I've ever watched, and yeah, I think I might go and watch a couple more.
Nice. But with you, Hargeet, you said with Persona, that's the only one you've been playing lately. Have you thought about, or have you tried getting, or are you going to try getting the Prince of Persia demo?
I have Ubisoft Plus, so
Oh.
I already have it. So I will just play it when it comes out.
Nice.
And with that, I get it. I get it both on PC and Xbox, and I get the Ultimate Edition, right? So I have all whatever stuff that
Perfect.
comes with it. So it's pretty good. So I played Mirage. I also have Avatar, right? That came out recently, so I have that to potentially play. But yeah, just like Game Pass, it's like everything's available to me. So I just whatever, when it's available, I'll just download it
Perfect.
and play it.
Yeah, man. I played a bit of it. I'm actually going to switch the gameplay to that in a minute, and I'll give my thoughts on that in a second. And Danny, what have you been up to, my man? And what do the good folks want to tell the good folks about yourself this week?
Man, so I've been really doubling down on content lately. Like I've been working on a lot of video projects. I actually have one that's going up tomorrow. I recorded it last night, and I'm gonna edit it and slap it together tonight. I might just put it up tonight. I guess the timing of when it releases doesn't really matter. That's just talking about all my favorite things from 2023, and that's really how I spent the majority of my time. I've also dropped into Baldur's Gate, as picked that up close to the beginning of the year here, and I think it's really good, but I think people have really wildly overblown it. Like it's not full stop. It's just like not game of the year.
Yeah. You know,
I agree.
Somebody
Like,
here
without-
agrees with you outside of Garuda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like
Baldur's crap.
it's one of these things where it's one of these things where like I think the story of it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I like the characters, most of them. I think Asterian's really annoying. Just like a lot of overacting going on in the Asterian area.
Yeah.
But the problem is that between all the story parts, you have to interact with the actual gameplay, and the gameplay is really clunky. I don't think they've done a particularly good job of making Dungeons and Dragons playable in a video game format. Like they've done the rules pretty accurately, but then they've made it like, especially in the UI department, just like so dense of just like I imagine that there's going to be a lot of people who play this game and then they'll think that Dungeons and Dragons is like nothing but spreadsheets and like not understanding what this game is at all.
Yeah.
And then there's aspects of it that like, as a longtime D&D player and dungeon master, that just like actively piss me off, where it's like they have this and I talked about this on Xbox Factor, so I apologize for anybody who also listens to that. But they have this system in it called Karmic Dice that I turned off as soon as I found out what it is and how it works. Where in the description of it, like in the menu, it says that it prevents you from going on like losing streaks of bad rolls, because it's all obviously based on dice rolls because it's a D&D game. And it's supposed to be like, if you fail a bunch of checks in a row, it'll throw you a bone and you'll pass one, I guess. What it doesn't tell you in that description is that if you go on a hot streak and you're succeeding a lot of things, it will also force you to fail for content, I guess. Yeah, well, and it's especially stupid because it's like, if I have statted my character out to be really good at like 2 or 3 things, I should succeed at that thing most of the time, especially by the time I'm like level 6, 7, right? But if you leave that setting on, then that's just not going to happen, right? You're going to be just occasionally botching things way more often than you should. And I actually looked it up, and it also affects how the likelihood of the enemies hitting you. So if you have Karmic Dice on and you're on the regular, like the story setting, then enemies will hit you about 51% of the time, which is about pretty accurate for the game, for actual Dungeons and Dragons. If you're playing on balanced, which is posited as like the normal difficulty, then they will hit you 60%. So we're already looking at a 10% increase from norm. And then if you're playing on
spreadsheet already, with
yeah,
telling us
yeah.
all.
Well, that's how
I
they
can sum
present
this
this
up
game
pretty
to you.
straightforward.
How do you
The
sum it up?
gameplay is freaking boring.
It's I don't even think that it's necessarily like that it's boring. I think it's more frustrating for me because like the more you take this game and try to make it into a video game, it's this weird double-edged sword where like the more successful you are, I think also the more you see how it's not working. So like people kept talking about this game where it's like, oh, you can do anything in any way you want, like you can solve this problem in any way you want, and that's objectively not true because it's a video game and it'll never be true. Like you'll just never have the same degree of freedom. But also it's like as an example, you cannot talk your way out of any situation after a combat has started. You cannot enter conversation after combat has started. That's like a whole mechanic in Dungeons and Dragons where like if you killed all but one person, you can intimidate that person to stand down and then like talk to that person. Like you have all this freedom. And that's not the thing. Like that doesn't work. And then a lot of the examples that I saw of people like, oh hey, you can solve this or you can beat this goblin camp up by leaving a bunch of explosive barrels around and then blowing them all up at once. And I'm like, why doesn't anyone in the camp react to the fact that you're leaving 40 explosive barrels around the camp? Right? So it's like there's a lot of different ways you can do things, but you're not going to do most of them are ridiculous. And then also like a lot of the ones that I thought of where it's like, this is how I would do it if I was actually playing Dungeons and Dragons here. Those ones don't exist. And it's even really simple things from just like they've taken out a lot of spells that would be really useful in a game like this. Like I don't think you can get mending, or at least I haven't seen it, but there's all kinds of situations where it's like I could just cast mending on that and it would fix it. Or like they do a lot of things where they nerf the way that like the player character is, where they make it objectively worse. Like when you level up, you don't get as many things as you do when you actually level up in Dungeons and Dragons, but then they give enemies way more things than they ever get. So like you'll have an enemy that you're fighting at like level 2 that has a 4-hit multi-attack, and it's like that's not how any of this works. So it's just like it's really frustrating to play this game and like know anything about Dungeons and Dragons and be like none of this works. And then on top of that, I said I really like a lot of the companions, and I do. I think they're really fun and well written, but they're also like all D&D tropes. Like every single one of them is a trope in Dungeons and Dragons like player character writing, where like every single one is the like, I have a dark past that's shrouded in mystery, and maybe I'll share it with you, and you get my social income. And it's every single character.
Where's the good
every
person?
single character.
They're all evil. And I'm like, come on.
If I sat down as a DM and this was my player cast, I would be like, bro, what the fuck? Like, stop. What are any of you doing? This is not how this goes.
You're better off just letting them all like die. And, like,
it's really, really annoying.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's also
and I
like
have
the
to agree with you
horniest
on
game
the,
I've
like,
ever seen.
the not being able to converse your way out of things, because that's what I do with Starfield. I made sure my character could converse your way out of anything. So I would like not have fights because I would just talk my way out of it. Right. And I'm like, why can't I just do this here? Like I've given myself those points. What? And the randomness with you missed. Oh, you missed. Oh, you missed.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed.
Well, in a lot
5
of
times in a row, you missed. I'm like, dude, come on.
That's
Like-
karmic dice. Like that's straight up that right there. That's because of karmic dice.
Like, I was sick of it. I'm like, this is boring. It's boring.
As soon as I turned karmic dice off, I was hitting pretty consistently, and I was like, oh, it's almost like if you stat yourself to be good with a bow, you should pretty consistently hit with your bow.
So
Wait, that
it's
karmic
crazy.
dice is on by default?
So-
Yeah, it's on by default. They
so the
don't
lesson
tell you
is
that it's
just
on. They
turn
don't
it off,
ask you
yeah.
about
That's
it.
what's wrong.
Turn that thing off immediately.
Got you. Okay.
Like-
I put 60 something hours into that game and dropped it for a lot of the reasons that you are explaining now. I'm the opposite. I come from a background of someone who has no prior knowledge of the Dungeons and Dragons universe at all. And for me, they do a very poor job of explaining what anything is. And I know that it's a convoluted sort of CRPG, and they have systems on top of systems and things like that. I get that. I like those kind of games. But for me, coming in as a non-D&D kind of guy, I feel so lost even after 60 hours, you know, and this for me.
Yeah.
If a game mechanic to be successful at the game means that you have to save scum constantly, just so that you don't go back to just a random encounter battle. It sometimes takes you like half an hour and just to get back to your player's turn again, and then
100%.
you mess something up and you have to reload that and go all the way back. For me, the monotony of it all just
another aspect
wore me
of it
down.
though is like, because it feels like, and this is a reference that maybe will only track for people who've played Dungeons and Dragons before, but it feels like if you went and you sat down at a Dungeons and Dragons table and your DM was like this super rich guy and he had all the Dwarven Forge like tiles to build the actual map and he had all the good minis and like everything was great, but then every single thing he did was just like, you're gonna play my story, you're gonna play the story that I want in the exact way that I want, and it just feels like he hates you the whole time, because on top of that they're also throwing enemy types at you that you should not be fighting. Like Dungeons and Dragons has a whole system for dungeon masters that's called challenge rating that very expressly tells you like, these are the type of monsters that you can and should fight at these levels. You should not be fighting, I don't know, a bunch of Githyanki who have player levels and like 130 health. You shouldn't be fighting 6 of them when you're, I don't know, level 3, but that's a thing that happens in this game. And it's just like, it feels like the dungeon master hates you the entire time you're playing the game, and it's just like why?
It's
like
why?
Get
good, scrub. Yeah.
It really feels like a type of game where like you have to min-max in order to be successful, or play, I guess, on like little baby difficulty. Like if you played on story, maybe it's different. I'm playing on balanced, which is supposed to, which is like the normal difficulty. So maybe if I played on the lower difficulty, it wouldn't feel like this.
I know.
No, but to me, it just feels like a chore to do everything. It's a chore to do everything in the game.
Chore.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not even just like it's difficult. It's not like a get good scrub situation. It's like, like I know Dungeons and Dragons. I've played this game for a decade. I am a dungeon master. I know how this shit works.
Yeah.
And it's literally just like, no, these were set up like these encounters were set up specifically to fuck you. It's like, if you choose to do this situation, like if you get into the situation, there's no way you're never gonna win this fight. You can get into a fight with a guy and an adult red dragon at like level 2, and it's like, no, you can't. Like you will never win that fight. You will never win that fight.
Yeah.
So why even put that option in there? A good DM would give you ways to get around it. Like, I don't know. It just,
well, let me ask the audience, because I know my brother Pete is playing it too. Him and my sister Red Dead Panda. So they're playing it together, I believe. And I think Risk It here and there joins them. I actually won the game through my brother Spooky off his show. So I haven't played it yet, but I own it. So I'm going to get into it eventually. I just know it's going to be like, a big investment. But I'm hearing these things and it's making me like really want to hold off. So I'm like,
oh
yeah,
it's hit or miss.
And it's
you
also
might love
like,
it,
but
but
I am running into the same level of bugs that I had with Starfield at launch. And this is a game that's been out on multiple platforms for almost a year now, and it was in early access forever. And yet I'm still running into tons of bugs where it's like,
where
there
you
was one time
playing
I
it? Is
tried
it
to
on PC or
I played it
Xbox or
on
PlayStation?
both. I started on Xbox, and I also played it on my PC a little bit because someone wanted to play co-op. And I've run into bugs on both. On the Xbox, the game crashed one time because I tried to sort my inventory, and my inventory was like a dozen things, and the game couldn't figure it out. And it was like, wait, what? And like, I don't know, like.
And then there's the save bug issue, which
I haven't run into that one yet, but apparently it's also being fixed, so that's good.
Yeah,
but,
I'm playing on PC. I didn't come across any bugs in 60 or 70 hours, but in saying that, I'm still in the first act, and I believe that the bugs come a lot later. Yeah, Act 3, it's shocking. One thing about the inventory you were just saying then, sorting your inventory, I could not imagine. See, I play on PC. I play the game when I'm playing it with a controller, but as soon as I switch to the inventory, I switch over to a mouse, because I could not imagine trying to deal with that with a controller. The
console UI is horrendous. Like, it's really bad.
So it completely switches as soon as I touch my mouse. It switches to the PC inventory UI, and it's so much easier. I couldn't imagine dealing with that with a controller. It would be ridiculous.
It's these kind of things that annoy me with like the Starfield nitpicking. Right, inventory management and encumbrance, and I'm like, dude, this game
inventory
has
is definitely worse in both.
So, like, what is why aren't you dinging this? Why is this a perfect 10?
Yeah,
or that one's a 7? Like,
we all know why.
That's actually a fair point, and I've had that thought when it comes to games for a while. I remember a review of Tenchu Z. Do you all remember that for the 360?
Yeah.
I know
Tenchu's
Tenchu, but I don't know.
Tenchu Z, which it was beloved to me, is if you haven't played that, I feel sorry because it's a great game. I think it's too tough to go back to now. It's dated.
It didn't review that well at the time, though.
It
from
didn't.
Memory.
It didn't. And to me, it's a gem. And I remember at the time they had Metal Gear Solid. And what was so odd to me, just to go into what Hargeet was saying on Starfield, I related to that because I remember how they were like, oh, the guards don't see you when you're doing this thing. And it's like, oh, why can't they see you? Why can't they see this? But then I remember that same type of review for Metal Gear. And they were like, oh, it's funny and it's cool when the little exclamation point goes over their head and and you hide in a box and they just, walk away. It's like, wait a minute. So why is that okay? And it's clearly stupid, and they know that you got a box that wasn't there before.
Double standard bullshit.
It's a double standard, exactly. So I've
We all
learned
remember
that.
how Metal Gear Solid 5 reviewed, and that game was, in my opinion, crap. So,
Yeah.
and it got great reviews as well. It was completely unfinished and stuff. So, those sort of double standards
Double
work everywhere.
standards
But
and
as far
bias.
as Starfield's concerned, Baldur's Gate and Starfield released around the same time. Look, a lot of the criticisms of Starfield are valid, and I have some heavy criticisms myself, even after sort of 9 days playtime. But hey, the same sort of criticisms could have been said about Baldur's Gate, but they weren't. And we all know why Starfield got extra negative sort of sentiment towards it, and it's just because it's an Xbox exclusive. I don't care what anyone says. We all know
It's true.
that's what it is. So
We know.
that's what it is,
and,
man.
and I don't know if this is like a bad take or something. I think a lot of people really like this game because of how horny it is. Like, this is the horniest
sure.
video game I have ever played. Like,
I was taking the clothes off every character class, bro.
Well, you absolutely can. And if you like loot everything off of a character, then like sometimes they can get naked too. But only if they're player characters, which is weird. Anyway, there was a bit where the green lady, Lae'zel, she's a Gith. She was like, "Hey, want to do a sex?" And I was like, "No, I'm actually like already halfway through a romance with this other character, so I don't know how she's gonna react to this, and I'm not gonna throw it away for your snake ass." But
Was she literally a snake?
she's an alien technically.
Okay.
It's like a whole. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I say that
but-
because there seems to be a lot of animal type stuff going on in this game.
There's a good amount of
Bestiality,
it.
right? What's going on in this game?
Well,
Deer sex?
I ignored all of it. I didn't go through any of it. But
If
I mean,
you're
like,
a druid, you can get into a sex scene where you are in.
if
bear
that's
form.
somehow your thing, and apparently it is for some people because they got
Yeah.
banned on Xbox.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
if that's your thing, there's plenty of that crap in there. But
Yeah,
no,
and it's
so-
not only the sex related stuff that your character is subject to, but you come across some pretty weird stuff as well. Like, do you remember the bit where you go in the barn and there's a little guy with the big ogre, and I don't know how he's taking her on. He's really slaying a dragon, bro. Like,
I saw that.
That's actually one of the scenarios where you can't talk your way out of it, as far as I'm aware. At least because I passed all my checks and I still had to fight those guys. So I was like, all right, well, I guess never mind.
did you notice where they're doing it? They're doing it on a dead human.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I was too busy
Yeah, they
Wow.
are.
getting my
It's
ass beat.
so bad.
But no, so I tell this snake lady that I don't want to bang her because I'm already in a semi-committed relationship with a different
And she's
twisted
like,
dark soul.
seriously?
No,
Sorry,
well,
that was my
first of all,
snake
she
voice,
did actually get kind of pissed, and
She
it was
did.
like Lae'zel disapproves, and I'm like, okay, well, now I'm feeling pressured into this sex. This must be how women feel, I guess. But then also, like, she starts describing. Later, I'm talking to her, and she's like, "Hey, we just finished this big thing. It would be a really cool time for us to have sex, but you said no." And then she went on like this whole. She went
What
on
the
like
hell?
this whole diatribe about like all the different ways in which she would have licked my body and tasted my sweat, and I was like,
You missed
Lae'zel,
out. So
this
like you
is
missed
not-
out. Yeah.
This is not the relate. Well, I was a little bit. I was like,
But I
Yeah.
mean, somebody had to write all this shit.
Yeah,
and
and
it's
I was
like,
like,
this is
I do
what
think
you're-
it's cool though.
I was
Like,
like, why
like,
is this
come on.
fun? Why is it fun to be like to tell a character I didn't want to sleep with her and then have her be like,
yeah.
you could have got all up in this snookussy. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Pussy.
What's it?
He's a snake
Why?
pussy. Hell no.
Why do I care?
You could have
Or
had
like
some
Yeah.
snake.
The wizard
Let me stop.
character keeps trying to ask me out to do things, and I keep being like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm literally already in a relationship with Shadowheart right over there. Like, she's right across the camp. You've seen us make out.
Well,
And he
one
keeps
thing
trying
that
to ask
annoyed
out on
me
things.
was-
and every time I tell him no, it says Gale disapproves, and I'm like, Gale, Fuck off.
Yeah. There's this guy that keeps asking me for magic items so that he can sustain himself, and I'm like, no,
Same
they're
guy.
my magic items. And I kept saying no, these are mine because this is my loot. Like some of
And
this
then
gear
they
is really
leave,
good,
right?
and I want to keep it.
He'll-
And then he
leaves
left
and
me.
dies.
He left me. He left me forever. He got the shits and left, and I was like, bro, I'm not doing this. You know, like.
Well, no. So his dark, twisted backstory is that he has a bomb in his chest, and if he doesn't shove magic items into it every couple
He
days, then
explodies?
he turns into a nuke.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if he's, it's really
One
I mean,
guy
every
left.
one of them
One
has
guy left
something
because I
weird
wouldn't.
like
everyone's
that.
got something like
What were
that.
you about
and
to
it's
say?
kind of annoying.
Hold on. What were we saying, Hargeet?
This is why I couldn't take the game anymore. It was just like the gameplay didn't hook me. The story was like meh, and then the characters are like annoying, and I'm like, dude, like when I was in a fight, I literally the only thing I was doing was picking up the people that kept falling down in my team, and
I
like,
did run into
45 minutes
oh.
later, I'm like, I
Yeah.
just don't care if these people even exist. I'm just done. Goodbye, good riddance, uninstall, I'm done. Like it never got to the point where I'm like, I have to see what happens next. Hogwarts, fantastic. First
Loved it.
5 minutes, I'm hooked.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Nothing like that, right? Starfield, same thing. I'm like, what just happened? What is this weird thing he just saw? Like this dream sequence? What is going on? Right? At least you have something to shoot for. Like nothing in this game. Like Zelda was the same way. I'm like, what just happened? And he's
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. So I was hooked the whole time. Nothing. I'm like, and I expect everybody's like a 96. I'm like, this has got to be great. It's gonna be awesome.
It's definitely not
Nothing
96.
like
I do
that.
think
I'm like,
it's
what is going on?
like overall, I don't regret playing the game, and I am gonna finish it. But yeah, this would not be.
No regrets.
It wouldn't have been like my top 5.
And it sounds like we're being overly harsh, but I think that we're just shining lights on valid criticisms
Yeah,
that
and, like-
were overlooked at the time it came out. And it is an amazing achievement as far as the dialogue options, the freedom of choice, and everything like that are really, really excellent. That's an achievement, right? It really is. But
It's like there's
a
so many games
97?
that do that though, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
that's true, too.
I mean, not
Yes,
this
it's more
this
than
deep. I
most
wouldn't
stuff.
say.
So
Yeah,
listen, we got a
pretty
few
good.
reactions in the chat, and Pixel is playing it himself. He said you could totally talk your way out of some of that, like the fights and things of that, and these other things.
You can talk your way out of it before the fight starts.
Yeah.
But as soon as you roll initiative, there's no talking your way out of it. It's literally not a mechanic that you can start conversation. And in actual
Gotcha.
D&D, you can start a conversation anytime. It's a free action. You can talk
Okay.
to anybody at any point.
Yeah.
And like you could, it's that thing. It's one of the most common ways in actual D&D for someone to gather information about like an enemy group that you're fighting is you take out a party or whatever that you've been fighting against, and then the last guy you beat his ass and you interrogate him. That's not an option in this. You can't do that. And there's a lot of moments in this game where it's like, we don't know anything about these guys. Boy, it sure would be great if we could get someone to talk. And it's like, if only I could think of a way to do that.
So we got some of the members. They said some of the chat. They said Sensei, my boy Sensei. He says y'all convinced me not to get that game. And Yodani says I know they've convinced me not buy it, even if I see it on sale. I don't need to be bricked up on a joke for no good. No,
it just pays to be aware of what you're getting into. I mean, really do your research. This is not a game for everyone. It's not a casual player's game. It's a very heavy game. But let me just tell you right now, objectively, in my opinion, it's not a 97. You play this game, it doesn't scream 97.
Yeah,
So-
to me, it's in the 60s, maybe 70s. That's where it felt. To me. And I'm not trying to be like horrible. It's just that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
I'm definitely higher on it than Hargeet, but I think I'm
me
in like
too,
an
but-
80 something.
Yeah,
Like,
me
it's-
too. 80s.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things it does really well. It's just like there are also so many negatives that I feel like nobody talked about, and I don't understand why.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
'Cause
So
It can definitely be boring. It can be boring at times.
Yeah.
I want to
I'm
just
kind of annoyed. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you
Yeah, I'm
gonna say.
kind of annoyed that this was that highly rated. Therefore, it got Game of the Year nominated. Not to mention, it got the actual award versus Hogwarts,
Yeah.
which was freaking fantastic.
Yep.
Like
I'm
that
debating
was
with people
totally
online.
snubbed.
I'm debating with people online who I know this all agenda right behind what they're saying, and I'm like, how did because they got the Dice Awards, and I'm like, oh, it got snubbed again. It did get nominated for 3 different things, so I was wrong. But
Yeah, you got nominated for some things.
and I'm like, oh, they got snubbed again. It's not in Game of the Year, but you got Cocoon there. Cocoon should not be there, by the way. I love Cocoon.
Yeah,
Should not be in Game of the Year,
I
but
think they just like to throw.
I
like,
think so,
an
but
indie in there, you know.
that should.
But there were other indies that probably were more deserving. But Cocoon was good. It was
Cocoon
good,
was good.
but yeah.
I don't think Game of the Year good. But like, so I saw that. I'm like, oh, I see the agenda continues with the Hogwarts, and you got people. Oh, it was mid.
Yeah.
It was this. It was mediocre. I'm like, the game
Actually,
has.
It
got
was
the-
not mid, dude. That
It
game
was not
so
mid.
good.
The game was like an
So
86. But even if outside of that, if you play the game, and then it's like Ubisoft trash, and I'm like, okay, I could just see the agenda spilling from your mouth. This is right here. This is not how you really feel. You're only saying that because of the whole J.K. Rowling thing. That's exactly what it is. Oh, it's mid. It's like, no, it's not mid. You don't have to play it or whatever, but don't lie. Don't lie.
I mean, it's literally the most sold game of the year. It beat freaking Call of Duty.
Unheard
That's
of.
insanity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And then, like I said, you can feel how you feel on the situation. I just don't think it's necessary to lie. And some of these
Yeah.
people are lying, and that's the thing that bothers me the most. Is the lack of integrity all around,
Well, if you want
including
to,
the snub.
if you want to get into it, I have the DICE nominations in the rundown. If you want to,
You know what? Let's get
start there.
Let's get to it in a second. I do want to give a shout out to everybody that's here first, and then
Oh, yeah,
in the
yeah.
super chat. Then I'll move right to you with that. So, just want to give a shout out to Spider, Spider 8. What's up, brother? Sith Lord, thank you for holding us down, Sith. It's Timmy Jr. What's up, brother? And our mods, of course, Gray Monad and Yodani Qzada. Thank you, fellas, for being here with us tonight. We have Web Dave. What's up, brother? I didn't even see you until now. What's up, man? Chicken High. I never seen this one, I don't think. Chicken Eye 210. Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. Derek Skinkus, I think it is. I can't quite see it. I think it's Skinkus. Welcome. Vic, the mother effing click. Welcome. His name always cracks me up. Jedi Knight Peter, and who also dropped the super chat for us. I'm going to get to in a second. Thank you, brother, for being here and for the donation. Charlie Hustle, what's up, brother? AJH, what's up, my British brother? Logic, yeah. TZ, and I got to TZ here. I've said it in the chat, of course, and I've spoken with him through DM. TZ had a pretty bad accident. I don't know if you guys are aware.
Oh no.
He shared it on Twitter, the image of the car and everything like that. Really bad. And
Is he okay?
he's good. Luckily, he has a few bangs. He banged up a bit, but luckily nobody's really seriously hurt, and he's okay overall. So that's the positive there. But just wanted to say shout out to you, Teasy, and glad you're good, brother. Pixelbit G, what's up, bro? Thank you for being here. Sensei, welcome, my man. I think this is my first time seeing you in the chat too, by the way. So thank you for coming through. You and Logic, two of my favorite guys, content creators. Palpatine, what's up, brother? And who else? Splendiferous. Thank you for joining, Splen. And we had one more person I know for sure that I saw. Oh yeah, Bunty. Wagwan Bunty. And my boy Cap. What's up, Cap? And OG Maybe, I see you, brother. Thanks for being here. Oh, and Boom. What's up, Boom? Welcome to the show. And my boy Legendary Yobi. He's upgraded. Welcome. And okay, so Yobi said he spoke with TZ on the phone. He's sore, but he survived. Absolutely. So that's a good thing.
Good.
I got to get him my number too. Now that you say that, Yobi, I didn't think about that. I'm so used to being kind of guarded with not doing that with people online, but I've talked with you guys for the better part of 2 years now. So it's like, yeah, let me get you my number. But let me get to the super chat. And what was it? So Jedi Knight Peter, he says, Happy New Year, brother. Infinite Umbra. Looking forward to the fix in 2024. Absolutely, my man. Same here. Definitely, we want to implement some different changes. Got some goals in mind. I actually had got a YouTube email earlier, and I didn't know this, but we apparently crossed over 2,000 subscribers.
What?
So,
When?
That's what it said. Let me look at that to make sure. I'd be messed up if I'm
What?
wrong. That's what
I thought we were at like 1,300.
That's what I thought. Let me see something. It'd be messed up if I just said that and it was not. But that's something to make sure you all subscribe, right? Yeah. And hit the like button now that I say that too, if you all have not done so, please do. I want to make sure that's what I saw while I'm saying this right here. Where is that email? But Danny, we can transition to the news roundup.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll start with the Dice Award nominations because that's
Relevant.
something we
Yes.
yeah, it's something that we had already sort of started talking about. So the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences has released its list of nominees for the 27th annual Dice Awards, and long story short, it looks like I think the nominations are a lot better than what the Game Awards did. There's still some issues with it. I think like they've still got Phantom Liberty in there a lot of places, even though that's a DLC, but whatever. But you know, they didn't put. Right, let me double check. I'm pretty sure they didn't put Resident Evil 4 for Game of the Year, so that's good. But it is being headlined by Spider-Man 2, which had 9 nominations. Alan Wake 2 had 8, and Baldur's Gate 3 that had 7.
Ridiculous.
So it looks like those were the biggest games of the year as far as the industry is concerned.
Spider-Man does not deserve 9 nominations. I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe it'll be like the Game Awards, and it won't actually end up winning.
That would be
009?
hilarious. That would be hilarious. Someone please call 911. What if it gets nothing again? That would
Yeah.
be
16-0.
that would be
I'm
hilarious.
sure it'll pick up some.
But don't worry, Umbra. They gave themselves a game of the year. That counts, doesn't it? Oh,
That's true.
That was
really
embarrassing,
sad.
bro. That was embarrassing.
That's true. Yeah, self high five. But do you guys disagree with that listing of people for the game of the year? And I'm automatically Cocoon should not be there, in my opinion.
I haven't actually seen the list.
I liked
Here, I got it
Cocoon.
here. The game of the year is Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cocoon, Spider-Man, and Zelda.
If
which
Starfield's
is-
not there, the list is wrong already. I'm sorry.
There you go.
I mean, I would put Starfield in there, I think, myself, but I'm not too upset about this. Like Cocoon, I also probably wouldn't put in as game of the year. Like I played it and it was good enough. But I think they just wanted to put an indie game in there, and for some reason that was the one they went with. But otherwise, like I'm not surprised by it. Like Baldur's Gate 3 did really well, Spider-Man 2 did really well. By that metric, I guess Hogwarts should be in here, but at least they nominated it for other things on like the Game Awards. So you know, I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's better than the Keeleys, and you know what? That's all I can really hope for.
Okay, I found the email. I was wrong, by the way, so salty a little bit, but I don't care. Whatever. We had 54 new subscribers, and it was a total of 2,067 views. That's what it was. last month,
gotcha.
just for last month.
Mhm.
So yeah, total
That's
minutes
pretty good
67.
considering we skipped like 2 weeks.
It is actually pretty good, yeah. But now that you all heard that, subscribe to us, please, and pass the word along to people in the community. Anyway, what else did we have, Danny?
So the other thing I want to get into here is the year has started off pretty rough for layoffs, man. Like it is not good in things surrounding the games industry. So Discord is the one I'm going to start with here. They just laid off 17%, which is roughly 170 people. It was announced during an all hands meeting, so at least people didn't have to hear about it from a tweet like some other companies. But their CEO, Jason Citron, says that they did it in order to, quote, sharpen our focus and improve the way we work together to bring more agility to our organization. I love that the excuse for firing people is always like, oh, we're dropping dead weight.
Yeah.
Like, we're taking off the limiters. We'll be better now with less people doing the job. Like, that's not how that works, but whatever. Sure.
That's not how any of this works. By the
Like, I
way,
understand.
that right there is unfortunate, but we've already heard news, not just of them. It was some other.
I've got other ones in here too.
Yeah, that had people lost jobs. This is already starting, so it's
Yeah.
going to be a heavy year for
So
that.
yeah, I'll just run through all of them when we talk about it as a whole.
Yeah.
Twitch also laid off 500 people. They said, quote, in an effort to right size our company. So I guess right size is now a verb that means firing 500 people. They also cut staffers. It was 500 employees from just Twitch, but they also cut staffers earlier this year from their Prime Video and Amazon Studios departments, because Twitch is owned by Amazon. And at least for Prime and Amazon, that was apparently in order to like merge it with MGM, who they had also purchased. So I guess that's why they had maybe a slightly better reason in that department, because it was like redundancies. But yeah, 500 people out of Twitch because they overpromised and underdelivered, I guess, in their earnings calls. And then Unity has also laid off 25% of their company in what they're calling a company reset, and that's been their only comment on it so far. So yeah, we're already up to like well over 2,000 people let go this year.
Already.
So here we go, baby, 2024.
Yeah.
Mm.
Tough one
It's
already.
it's amazing to me that the video game industry from the outside looking in as a consumer looks like, and as far as revenue is concerned, stronger than it's ever been. Yet we're having record layoffs. It's crazy,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. So
You know.
before I go any further with that, we have Dusty here with us now. So Dusty, let me introduce you. Dusty is a content creator as well as a very active community member, dancer, and all these other good things. Dusty, introduce yourself to the good folks and tell them what you've been up to.
What's going on, everybody? It's good to be back. I am Dusty, the dustiest of them all. Just I know for the slight elephant in the room for some people, where have I been? I was really sick last few months of 2023, in not only physically, but I had to deal with a lot of things mentally. But I'm happy to say, and that's actually why I'm here today, because I'm back now and I feel better. I'm much more positive, and I'm not as sick as I was. It was very deathly. I don't know what was going on with me, and I'm just happy to dig back into the community and the new things that I have going on for 2024. So for anyone wondering, I saw everything going on, but I just really needed to take my space to make myself right. So to those of you that reached out to me over that period of time, thank you so much. Love you all, and yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, definitely. What have you, outside of getting yourself together, have you been playing anything, watching anything, or anything like that?
I haven't been gaming as much because of all, like, I mean, you would think I was gaming a lot because I was sick, but I was so sick that I just needed to like focus on other things, and mainly it was a lot of rest. I've gotten back into DJing. So for Christmas,
Nice.
I got a DJ controller, and I'm also producing my own beats now because I also got a MIDI keyboard going with it as well. So that's something that I've been taking up during this whole time of rehealthing myself. But as far as gaming, no, I haven't really touched anything in quite a while just because of everything going on. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely we're missed, man. And you see some in the chat already.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Some even pointing out in the chat. One thing I was going to say too, you all can see it on the screen here. If you all don't have it, definitely get it. The demo for the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
It's a demo. Cool.
Yeah, it's a demo. It's like I played it. I'm guessing you get to a point, that's when it cuts off. When you get to the boss fight, I played about almost an hour of it, really, about 57 minutes. So it was like an hour, let's say. Loved it, literally. It's everything.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
It is, and it looks really good. It plays even better. Like the controls are solid. This is exactly, I think, the direction Ubisoft, in my opinion, needs to go to kind of build out their portfolio a bit from what we're used to with them. This right here, just a solid reimagining of Prince of Persia, and it calls back to the old school style, as you can see it. Like it has that old school feel to it from the 2D style, old school Prince of Persia games. Just fun, and I love Metroidvanias, so this is a Metroidvania style game. Just really fun. Combat is nice. Characters are cool. Nice voiceovers from what I've seen so far. Nice character designs. Just fun controls. It plays the way you want it to. He doesn't have a double jump yet, but I know I'm going to get a double jump skill when I play it. I like the demo so much, I bought the game immediately after I finished it. That's how much I like it.
Wow.
So
yeah, it definitely looks like something. These are the kind of games I absolutely adore, and I was just hoping someone was going to tell me that it's good.
Yeah, I liked it, man. And it's only $50 for the standard edition. I don't think anybody needs the deluxe because it's just like skins. I think a skin or two and like a art book. That's up to you, but I don't think you need it. But even then, it's still reasonable at $60. So, but the standard is $50, which is what I got. So just to shout that out. Again, everybody in the chat, thank you guys for joining us. I see you, K Spartan661. What's up, brother? Who else? Vinny. What's up, brother? Try Hard Fan. What's up, man? And I think that's about it. But Danny, what else do we have in the news?
An AI company may have accidentally leaked the name and release date of the next Switch, apparently. Although I think the name, I don't believe the release date feels about right. Long story short, they were like, "Hey, we've been working on this thing for the new Switch. It's called the Switch 2, and it comes out in September 2024." I hope that Switch 2 isn't what they call it. Like that
Same.
feels really
Please,
lame.
Super Switch.
Super Switch is I've been pushing for
Yeah.
Super Switch
Switch
like,
would
the whole
be
time.
great.
Oh,
Yeah, Super
Uh,
Switch sounds cooler, but they'll
If
probably
it's
stick to
just Switch 2,
Switch.
then like
Yeah.
If they just call it like Switch 2, like that's boring, but it's fine, I guess. And
sounds
then
too
September-
close to Switch U.
That's
Yeah.
that's
The
why I
community-
think
Don't
they'll
do
keep
that.
it that way, because Switch to the Wii U, the Wii and the Wii U. I think they'll probably stick to that
Yeah.
convention.
Ugh.
The community can just call it the Super Switch, and then that'll spread.
True.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm gonna call it. I probably won't buy it though, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the release date is in September. I think that feels about right, like going into the holidays. So
Yep.
why not?
And that thing, the people who the company that I guess spoiled this or leaked it,
Yeah.
isn't it Game Shark? They said something about Game Shark about that, right? Like the
Yeah. So they're a company. I think they're a company that used to do like the Game Shark thing. I didn't write that part down, but it was some like code name was Game Shark. So
okay, because I was thinking it's like the I guess cheating device thing that people used to use to help them get past stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, they got that.
yeah.
But okay, never mind. But yeah, I think September actually sounds about right. I think the fall, at the very least, sounds about when we would get the Switch, the next, or the Super Switch, as you guys are calling it. It makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
I'm not
here
gonna
we go.
lie, I'm excited for this Switch too, man. I really
I'm
am.
excited
I
for it
got
too.
you.
Yeah,
As
I
part of
haven't
the
played anything on
ongoing-
Switch since very early in its lifespan, just because. I mean, I know it just doesn't perform to what I want, but there's so many games on the platform that I would love to play if only I could play them at a decent sort of performance level. So
yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
that they bring the heat a little bit as far as specs are concerned. I don't care about resolution. Just give me the 60 frames.
Wait, you don't care
and
about
I'll be happy.
resolution, even though you have this super PC that you've upgraded to?
It's not
Okay.
a super PC. Come
Can
on.
I
But no. Look,
Hot mess real fast.
Go ahead, Danny.
I have this friend. He's one of my best friends, and I love him to death. He is PC master race all the way. He like buys all the newest things for the PC the second they come out. The 40 series card comes out. He's pre-ordering that. He's going in on. He's top of the line everything, no matter what. Right? He's that guy.
Mhm.
Every time he's on Discord all the time, and I'm looking at it. What's he playing? Hearthstone, Valorant. I'm like, what are
Wow.
you using all this power for? You're playing a card game.
Unlimited power, and he's playing card games. Ain't that something?
yeah. I'm in the same boat, I guess. My favorite game of the generation is Grounded, and I have more time in that game than anything.
You
So
played on a
yeah, I'm the
Chromebook.
same.
Go figure, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that the spec leaks, and I hope it's wrong, is it only has 8 gigs of memory, which is
Yeah, that can't be right.
stupid, and then 64 gigs of storage. Like, no. It needs to be in the terabyte range. Like this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's no way to have real games.
mean,
That,
Yeah, if they're wanting to start having like third parties put games on there again, then
Yeah,
100%
yeah.
they need bigger
Yeah.
storage. Their games are
Yeah.
relatively small.
well,
though,
I mean,
which is-
even think
nice.
of it this way: they have a 10-year deal to get Call of Duty. Is Call
Oh,
of Duty
yeah.
going to fit in 64 gigs? No.
not more
Hell
than
no.
Not at all.
So they,
Yeah.
they
Not if
Not
it's
even
going to be
part of it.
comparable to the other versions. No way.
Yeah.
It would be COD
I,
Mobile for the Switch too.
I have the answer to your
Exactly.
Game Shark question, by the way, here, Umbra. It says, as part of the ongoing wave of AI-related news at CES 2024, Alltech Lansing revealed an artificial intelligence-powered successor to Game Shark called AI Shark. More interestingly, the press release regarding this software claims that the Nintendo Switch 2 will launch in September 2024. So literally, it's the people who used to make Game Shark are making an AI
All right,
version of
yeah.
Game Shark.
Nice. Okay. That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy how I guess companies will land. Who would have expected that? But if they spoiled that, that'll probably be the last time they work with Nintendo. But yeah, it'll be the last.
They
What-
already hate people editing their games. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
did you see the thing where they were like content claiming any site or any YouTube channel that like ran modded versions of like Pokemon and Zelda and stuff? And it's like,
oh wow, I
it's
didn't
like,
see that.
bro, chill.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't play. That's why I try not to
Yeah.
even feature anything with them on the screen. I don't.
Yeah, it's not.
I heard stories about like
They're
even,
way too ridiculous about that.
Way
They need
too
to like
ridiculous.
let loose a bit.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
I was literally warned by other content creators like, don't share anything with Nintendo on your screen.
Yeah,
Like, I'm like, even without music, they said even without music, don't share it. It's just not worth it. I'm like, okay, well, that's enough for me, you know. And like, I would probably have like Mario or somebody inside the the YouTube adverts and stuff like that, or the screen before the for the podcast episode. But I don't want to run the risk of them putting a strike or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
Anyway, though, what else?
Yeah.
What else do we have?
Hey, Last of Us season 2 got some casting, and I don't know if I like it. So they cast Caitlin Denver as Abby, who I think is a phenomenal actress. Caitlin Denver, if you don't know her, she is probably best known for Booksmart or Dope Sick. They're both relatively new because she's relatively young. But she's a really phenomenal actress. My concern with it is I don't think I've ever seen her look even remotely like intimidating or like tough. You know what I mean? Like I just can't. I can't imagine.
She looks
her
like
as
Ellie.
as a villain. I can't. Yeah, honestly, she looks like a better Ellie.
She
than,
does.
than the person they cast for it.
Yeah.
So
Literally
I
looks
don't-
like Ellie. Like
I don't know.
literally.
She doesn't have to get as yoked as the girl from the game in order to be as equally intimidating, like in
That's
scale
true.
to the toddler that they cast as Ellie.
The top.
So like I may not be that big
Ellie
of a
is a
problem.
toddler.
Yikes.
Ellie is a toddler.
Yeah, it's like I know that she'll kill it because she's a phenomenal actress, but
Yeah.
it's just like I don't see the vision.
I see. I get you.
And then the other big one that came out because it was only like a handful of castings, but the other one that's like worth talking about is Isabella Merced was cast as Dinah, who is Ellie's girlfriend.
Pretty girl too.
Um,
But isn't she older? Like she looks way older.
No, well, no, she's Gen Z, but she was also just cast as Hawkgirl in James Gunn's Superman Legacy, which is where you may have seen
Nice.
her before.
Okay.
Because her other claim to fame is from the Dora the Explorer live action movie. that
Oh,
I'm gonna go on a limb.
Yo,
saying
that-
you probably
thing was
didn't
lit.
watch.
what a glow up.
That thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the two big ones. They also cast I forget Dinah's boyfriend's name. I forget
The Asian
him, but
guy. I
he
can't
was
remember.
also cast, but it was by somebody who had
Yeah.
nothing to say about. He's just some guy. His first name's Young.
Yeah, the Asian guy. I forgot his name on the game, but he was okay. He was an okay character.
Yeah, I mean he was in like 5 seconds of the game.
Pretty
so it's hard
much.
to really judge him.
Yeah. He wasn't in there that long. So, but yeah, that's cool. I saw him. He actually does look like the guy. So that's pretty solid casting.
Yeah.
Her though, I look at that and I'm just like,
Caitlin
they,
Denver.
yeah, they went with what's her name that plays as Ellie right now?
I don't know.
I cannot remember right now, but and I love that actress. I think she's great.
No, I love
you
her.
know,
I
from
don't
Game
know
of
that
Thrones
she
and
was
everything.
great choice for the role, but
I
she's-
just
like her a lot.
yeah.
Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey. I just don't think she was fit for Ellie. She looks nothing like Ellie. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
say it. I'm not trying to be mean, but you look at this girl here that they have for Abby, and it's like, okay, wait a minute. So clearly it was a name recognition thing that they put her there for Ellie. But yeah, whatever. What else do we have?
Hey, impressions for the Suicide Squad game came back, and hey, it's bad. People are not positive on it. They're in general saying, hey, this gameplay pretty whack. The story okay, but just like not a fun game. I think IGN's title for their preview was we played it and we didn't like it, so it's pretty cut and dry. I don't know. I feel like the writing on the wall was there for this one. Like since basically the first trailer for it, I was like, yeah, that looks like it's not gonna be what anybody really wants.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I played
This is a travesty, really.
It is. I played the alpha. I don't know how many. Did any of you guys play the alpha?
No.
Nah, I didn't.
No.
I don't
wanna
know.
touch it with a 10-foot stick, bro.
I might not be able to say
I've
too much.
I've played a private alpha from January of last year, and then the alpha that you guys got to play.
Oh wow.
And I think Umbra, the problem is I think we're both under NDA. We
That's what
can't
I was
say
going to
anything.
say. So I don't think I can
So-
say much. Yeah.
They did say that they were gonna remove those NDAs soon, but I wouldn't do it now. Just give it like another week because it seemed like that was passing.
Yeah, it's pretty close, right? It's like next month it's coming out, so hopefully the review embargo lifts soon and we can start talking about it.
What's really sad is not just the fact that the game is generally, from what we can gather, not great, but the true travesty and the true sadness about the whole situation is this is what we got from a premier studio after 9 years of waiting.
Yeah.
9 years between games, and this is what we received from from a studio that bought us the Batman Arkham trilogy, which really
Yeah.
set the scene for combat in superhero games, and just that dialed in story, amazing visuals, that really immersive kind of superhero experience that really set the tone for like the Spider-Mans and everything that followed, right? This is what we got 9 years later. This is terrible. And I can't imagine how that they must be feeling at the studio. Yeah. Those developers at Rocksteady must be feeling absolutely terrible about this. And you could imagine that there must have been some solid pushback against WB about this. And you can really tell that they've been pushed in this direction, that they didn't really want to go. It's not their wheelhouse. They've kind of missed the boat as far as these games go with the gas games. A lot of people are dropping off them. The hype's kind of died down. And is Justice League, is it really that big to begin with? Like, come on, man. This is just sad all round, in my opinion. It's a waste of 10 years for Rocksteady. It really is.
Justice League is big. At the time, I think when they started, Suicide Squad was kind of big, right? It was kind of in the lexicon of the world. Yeah. And then they were trying to capture that. Suicide Squad. I know it. I had that feeling. But they were trying to capture that Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing. You could tell, right? Especially with James Gunn. He switched over there to DC to do it. And I think they just missed the boat, honestly. I won't talk on the game itself.
They did.
As to not break NDA, but I will just say that
5 years ago, it would have been okay.
Yeah. I'll just say this. Rocksteady, they're beloved to me. I would have much, much preferred them to kind of stick to what they were doing from Arkham Knight and advance that in some ways. I think this is just a departure all around. This has nothing to do with NDA. I just think it's a departure all around. It just goes against the grain.
I'm not under NDA, so I can say whatever I want. I think it's ludicrous that this is the direction that they've chosen to go. Because the red flag started early for me with this game, because it was like, hey, so we're announcing this and Gotham Knights pretty much at the same time. And Gotham Knights, which includes a dead Batman, like he dies at the end of night, and has a lot of the same character designs. That one, different universe. This one, where Batman is back alive even though he's dead. And also we're in Metropolis, and also Superman's here, and like Brainiac has taken over half the planet or something. That one, same universe. Like, what is this choice? What have we done? Why did we do any of this? Why did you even bother
tell me
to
why
make
it took
that
9
choice?
years? Why did it take 9 years to get this?
What's going on here? Why are we doing this to us? Like, you finally put the Justice League into a game, and you made them the people you kill. Like, people want to play as them. They've never gotten to play as half those characters.
Crazy.
I thought they went down a different direction first, right? And then they kind of scrapped what they were doing and then started this. So I think that's why it went down.
Something must have happened.
There were rumors that there was a Superman game in development, which would explain why it's in Metropolis if they like already started building the map. But I don't know if that's been confirmed yet.
It hasn't been confirmed, but it seems to be the thing, right?
It feels about right.
It feels about right. I think they were going to go to Justice League route, and I think they just kind of changed it up, go to. I don't know.
But well, just tell us, because when you look at this game and you think 9-10 years for a developer of Rocksteady's pedigree, and you go, what?
Yeah.
Just be transparent about that, because man, this just isn't it. This looks like they slapped it together in 2 years.
I won't say anything.
I'm sorry.
NDA. No. Don't apologize.
God, do I want to talk about it? But
yeah.
Okay,
I've been wanting to talk about this for a year.
Yeah. And I will say this: it's the alpha, so thoughts can vary. Maybe it's gonna be crazy different by the time we touch the thing. So I won't say anything about that. But listen, if you're excited for it, be excited. Don't let anybody else turn you around. It is what it is. For sure. But.
True.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it eventually when we get the chance, when we're past NDAs. But yeah. But what else did we have? And I know we gotta kind of keep it moving because we're about an hour in.
I got one last thing here.
Right.
I don't have much to say about it, but maybe y'all will. Hey, Microsoft was briefly the most valuable company in the world.
Briefly.
Yeah, Apple took them over.
They did already.
They've been sort of like. Well,
it's Apple,
bit. But they're right up there at the like $2.9 trillion mark, and they keep like kind of.
It's some wayward. You know what it is, right? It's some wayward Hoove brother out there. Like, nope, buying like 18 Apple phones right now.
Yeah.
They're like, not on my watch.
Yeah, no, it usually is just like the cycles of when they're selling new stuff, right? But yeah, it does. It flip flops a little bit. Usually, Apple stays ahead. But look, with the acquisitions and AI and all that stuff, it is possible that Microsoft flips it and stays the top company. But yeah, it's those two are the top two right there. And they've been there for a while.
Big difference though is Microsoft's using its money to sort of consumer benefit, whereas Apple are the complete opposite. So
Yeah.
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 But
Yeah.
as far as this whole thing, I mean, it is what it is. It's super rich companies. We're not going to get any of it, unfortunately. I wish we could.
No.
Just 1%.
we get more from one at least.
I
Just-
mean, yeah. Here's the hope is that they'll put some of that money back into games that we like.
That's what we're
right.
hoping for, exactly.
So-
So that for that reason, I hope Microsoft succeeds, just because we might benefit. Other than that, I don't care for Apple products like that anymore.
Nah, me
I
either.
don't know that I ever really did.
Yeah, not my
Like
thing.
their AirPods are probably the best thing they make, and they break constantly.
I don't even like those style. Like my ears are sensitive. Like that's the only sensitive thing about my body, really. Like I just run into things. Like have you all just? Yeah, I know I'm not even trying to brag, but like I just walk and just run my shoulders. Like I have a broad.
super tough. I'm like Achilles, but it's my ear.
It's funny though, but I say it like that, but like I'll run into walls and stuff because my shoulders are broad, and I just bow and just keep moving. Hit my knee or whatever, like ouch, and then keep moving. My ear gets slightly cold, and it's like I can't do anything. I don't know what it is. Like I don't know what it is. So those earbuds of theirs are hard. Like I need the soft tip type for the inner ear. Otherwise, it won't work.
Pause.
And pause.
Is that
Yes.
a pause? Yeah,
Yes.
is that a pause?
Yes.
Pause.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's a big pause.
I apologize.
Yeah,
I almost got me.
I generally don't like
Keep your
earbuds
soft
that,
tip
like-
over there, bro.
I've never been a fan of Apple, but once that Foxconn stuff happened, where like hundreds of people jumped off the roof and their answer, well, Steve Jobs' answer was put nets up. Like, I'm done. I am never gonna touch this company ever again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Screw
No,
you,
I
Apple.
avoid them
that,
too.
but
I
yeah.
get.
Screw you. I just like the definition.
Yeah, I avoid them
of
too with my iPhone and M1 MacBook Air and Jesus Christ.
So that was it for the news roundup, Danny?
That's all I had.
All right, nice. Thank you for the news roundup, brother. So listen, we have about an hour left. Not even an hour left. We have like 40 something minutes. So basically, I just want to get you guys' thoughts on the developer direct, for 2024 here. Obviously,
Do not make me go first.
now you have to go
I got it.
first. Now that you did that,
Because I didn't see it.
Yeah.
So I need to hear everybody else's thoughts and then give my opinion.
it's too late. You wish it, want it, speak it. It's on
Guys
you.
gain.
Yeah.
The developer direct was absolutely what anybody else thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it hasn't actually happened.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna say,
all we
wait a
have.
minute.
See, that's how you know. That's how you know I've been out the picture. So there you
I
go.
wanted to see how far he would go into it before he realized it hadn't happened yet.
I guess I came up with the best answer possible. It kept me safe.
It's the
Um,
developer direct of our dreams. So let me read up a bit of the synopsis for you.
Yeah, go for it.
And we will come back to you because you're like a little bit out of the loop. And maybe while we're doing this, you can look it up and kind of get a refresher too,
Mhm.
or not refresher because you don't know about it, but get introduced. Anyway, so so Xbox announced that Our History Untold, Avowed, Hellblade II, and surprisingly, Indiana Jones will be there and showcased with in-depth looks at each title. That surprised the hell out of me. I'm sure for you fellas it was the same for seeing Indiana Jones. And I'm thinking the whole community. I don't think any of us would have called that, honestly.
Man.
Nope.
So the last year's event, of course, brought a big surprise and to reveal an immediate release of Hi-Fi Rush. So I have a question to you guys concerning that as well. Actually, we had a question from our brother Gray earlier. He asked, and I said I would ask it to you guys. Let me see if I can find it. He says, just a hypothetical question. Would you guys be okay or happy if the shadow drop was Stalker 2? If they happen to do a shadow drop this year, fellas, would you all be happy if it happened to be Stalker 2?
I don't.
Yes.
I mean, okay.
I
Me
would too.
personally,
No.
No?
So okay. Here's the thing. I would love to have that game as soon as possible. So yes, I guess on that regard, yes.
Yeah.
However, I think that with how rough a time that studio has had. I think
Mm.
I want them to have
True.
like the biggest sales
Yes,
push possible.
that's
True.
I want them to get
Yes.
all the like marketing and all the push. I want them to be like
They need a
up
hype
on the
cycle. They
pedestal when
deserve
that push comes out.
they need their time
Well-
in the spotlight after all they've been through. That's the only reason why I said no. I agree, 100%.
Well,
They
'cause
deserve
for
it.
the-
They've lit.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just mean to say, like, we all know it's well documented that some of the developers have died in the line of duty, and I just
Yeah.
want,
Mhm,
I agree with
mhm.
Kenny, they deserve their time in the spotlight. The game deserves a little bit of a hype cycle. It
Yeah.
does look really good. It does look amazing. So I just want them in the spotlight, in the limelight, because they deserve it. I agree.
Yeah, like for me, it would be cool if they shadow dropped it, just because out of all the games they have coming, that just seems like a game that could be shadow dropped. But on the other hand, they do deserve like the red carpet rollout, because they had to delay their game, not because of, like gamer delays. They had to delay their game because of real world issues, real world crap, real world shit. So it to be able to make it this far and finally be able to release the game means more than just gaming itself, I feel like, for them.
For sure. It's a massive achievement just of the
Mhm.
human spirit, I guess you could say, at the end of the day, without being too dramatic, but it genuinely is. It'll be a triumph for those guys. But the other thing is the game actually ready? Because it's well reported that, 6 months ago around the E3 time, it was quite in a rough state from a lot of reports. People that played the game said it had some strong performance issues, and it looked like it suffered a little bit of a visual downgrade. So it looked like it might have suffered from some of that disrupted development process. So is it really ready either? So I'd be very shocked to see that shadow drop.
Yeah, I think that's really fair.
Okay. So I guess I'll ask you guys in the chat as well, and I'm going to put up a poll. Actually, why not? Right? If you all had the option in the chat, what game would you like for them to shadow drop? Just anything, whatever you feel like. I'm going to put Stalker 2 in the poll as well. But you guys, what game would you prefer to
So
have?
first, my thoughts on Stalker
Hellblade.
2. I think like they must have spent Microsoft a lot to keep them going, right?
Mhm.
At some point, you got to say, have they spent enough to just buy them? And so that to me might be the real answer, is that they should just have that as the next acquisition and make it a permanent, obviously exclusive at that point. So I think it's a separate thing. I don't think they should shadow drop this. I think they should just have a separate thing that says we've acquired them, and Stalker 2 will be our first game with them, and it's going to drop blah, 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 whenever it is. I don't know when it's going to be ready. There is a lot of potential that it does need to get polished up a bit. And I think Microsoft's going to be gun shy of releasing anything that doesn't look great, right? So if it's not up to snuff, they're going to give it more time. But like they've had to extend funding to them through this whole Ukraine war process, right? So at some point, you just got to figure they've spent enough to actually buy. How much could that studio really cost, right?
I would love that, man. I would love
right.
that.
So wouldn't that be a nice little story for Microsoft?
Yeah.
Hey, after all this, we decided it was better to just buy them
Yeah.
and support the studio through this tough time. So I hope that's what they really do. I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but I hope that's what they really do with Stalker. I don't think it's going to show up, and I hope it's not the shadow drop, because they certainly have enough other stuff that they can bring in and shadow drop. But
Absolutely. So I have a few options here that I feel like I've heard speculated, and I'm gonna put this now. Type the last one. Okay, so let's start the poll. You guys should see it now. There we go.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Talborn. Yes.
So which game
The way
would you
it
want to
pops
see?
now is nice.
So I see somebody voted already. Talborn. So you got Star.
Which game would you want to shadow drop?
Yes, you got Shadowed. You got Towerborn. You have Stalker 2. You have what else did it have? Marcus Phoenix Collection, and it was one other one that I put. Halo, the Battle Royale, if whatever it may be. What would you want?
Now, when you say shadow drop, you're basically talking about something we don't know about, and they announce and release at the same time.
Yeah, okay. Is that a definition of a shadow drop, though?
That
A
is
shadow drop
technically
is
a
even
shadow
if we
drop.
know about it, it just drops when we don't know.
what I thought.
and that's the surprise.
Yeah, that's really the surprise. It's like even if you know about the game, you didn't know that it was going to drop right then and there. So that
Hi-Fi Rush was a reveal and a shadow drop all at once. Like that was
Exactly.
like out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah, they did that nicely. Yeah,
yep, I love how they did
could
that.
They please bring out
So, I mean,
replaced.
technically, a shadow
Replace,
drop is a announce and release at the same time.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
a shadow drop is.
Ah, okay.
In that case, then
That's-
Hi-Fi Rush was a true shadow drop.
Yeah, that was
Correct.
the truest of truest.
Exactly.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
All right. Well, there's the poll, guys. You guys vote in it, and we'll check on it in a few. So let me read this. The Xbox Developer Direct 2024 event starts next week on January 18th. Just a Thursday before our show, by the way, so it'll be perfect. And next week, just to throw it out there, we have Deli and Shane Bailey, rather, who are both were both Ubisoft and Microsoft, I believe, developers. So what better guest than to have actual devs, right, for the Dev Direct. So anyway, last year's show lasted for around 45 minutes, and they said they're expecting about a similar runtime this year. Bethesda obviously already confirmed that Elder Scrolls Online live stream goes live after the Developer Direct. So in case you all didn't know that, and if you all are interested in ESO, they'll be having that a live event after the Developer Direct. So where to watch, of course, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, etc., etc. So and again, the games that we know about for sure are Aura, History Untold, Avowed, Hellblade II, and Indiana Jones. I'm actually a little surprised that Hellblade 2 is there too, seeing how we just saw a bit of combat.
More combat.
For it. Yeah.
More combat. We need to see more combat.
I'm
Because
all
yes,
for
they
it.
gave it to us, but even though that what they gave, like it, when they did it, it was in the moment. It was like, oh, we finally we're finally getting to see some combat. This is what we've all been talking about, and we know Xbox knows that.
Mhm.
But when you look back on it, that really wasn't a lot. So I'll be honest with you. The fact that they're bringing Hellblade 2 to this developer direct, I hope there's more combat involved. And because it's a developer direct, they explain some of the combat too. And that way you're like, damn, they're really, really going with this. They're really giving us what we were asking for from the first game.
Yeah.
So that's what they kind of said, right? This is more of a actual talk with the developers on how they went about doing things, right? So hopefully that is what they do, is they showcase like how they
What
went
is
about
the
making
game?
the
Yeah.
combat happen, right? And
Yeah.
and how they changed it up, and we can see them actually playing it and saying, "Oh, this is how we made the combat flow this way," and that'd be kinda cool.
Yeah.
I think we get that, and I think we get a release date. I think that's what makes them.
Oh, that would be
If
that
there's
would be
no,
lit.
if there's
Or is hell
if there's
time,
no release
right?
date, I think people are going to be up in arms about it because we've seen
They
enough of this
shouldn't be,
game
though.
on multiple occasions
that
that
would be.
this should be a release date.
I mean,
it has to be.
I mean, would you guys seriously be up in arms though? Because you still have
Yeah,
the
absolutely,
June
yeah.
event that they can actually showcase and say, "Hey, this
No,
is
I
coming
want it
this,
to
this
release
fall."
before that.
If they're
No,
gonna
I
show
need
it,
to. By now, I need to know when Hellblade 2 comes out.
Me
Sorry,
too.
Hargy,
We've
go ahead.
seen it so
yeah,
many
no, I
times,
agree.
but
I
sorry.
agree 100%. That's it. Like they've shown it too many times now,
Yeah.
where it's like, and you just showed it the Game Awards saying 2024. If you're gonna show it again, just please give me the goddamn release date. It's over.
Yeah.
Just give me-
Yeah.
tell me when
Yeah.
it's
I'm at the
coming out.
point where if they're not going to give us the concrete release date, don't show me the game again.
I
That's
know,
what
Oh,
I
right?
mean.
wow. You
And if
guys
you're
are
not gonna give
you guys are snobs. You like, don't show me a damn thing unless you.
But look, I was already tired of seeing the cinematic close-up views of Senua's face, her slowly. I don't care about the graphics. I don't care about when you went to Sweden and
Looked
got
at some
pictures of
rocks.
the mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
We've seen that.
Yeah.
We've seen that half a dozen times before we seen 3 seconds of gameplay at the Game Awards. Okay, so people were already over it. It was like before Deathloop dropped. We saw so much of the game that we were just like, give us a release date and go away and bring it out. That's where we're at with Hellblade for me. I've been a little bit oversaturated as far as that game's concerned. Show me what the game is. Show me what it actually is. And then give me a release date or don't show it. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little different on that. Danny, what's your thinking on that? Because for me, I do get you guys' sentiment. I definitely do. But I'm not so like stalwart where I'm like, don't show me nothing unless you're telling me this. But I feel like
But hold up, just one thing. They announced that before the Series X and showed it before the Series X even come out.
yeah,
That's
Well,
how long
pretty
we've
much
been
the same
seeing this
time,
game.
but yeah.
yeah, but that's
Like,
what 3
yeah.
years, right? So I'm fine with that.
No.
Me, I'm the type.
Well,
of,
You know, let's
4
include the
years.
4
pandemic.
years.
You know,
Yeah,
was a
it
thing.
was the 2019 TGAs. That's when they showed that.
Oh wow.
So that's a year before the
thought it
Series
was-
X. It's
Yeah.
They announced the Series X at
Right.
the TGAs 2019, and the next
Yeah.
thing they
Correct.
showed was
That's
Hellblade
right.
2.
Yeah, you're right. I'm listening.
Seen it
I'm
so
the
many
type
times.
that's different on that though, because some people don't like the thought of having a game showcased or announced years in advance. I am the opposite. Like, show me what you got coming for me, and I think it's a byproduct of being an Xbox gamer, where we kind of like, like what's coming in the future, because we don't have anything now. So I've kind of conditioned myself maybe to being okay with seeing games promised far way out. I don't know. So it doesn't bother me like that. I like seeing that promise of what's to come. So I'm not like, give it to me now and play, especially since we have so many games to get through and play. Like, I'm not like, I need to know now.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is for me.
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I think it's because I do think it's time. Like, I think this is the correct time to show it off. It's supposed to be coming out this year.
Yeah.
Presumably, we have to have something in the first half, and it's either going to be that or Avowed. So one of those got to get a release date real fast.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be mad. Like, if they just told us like a window, if they were like, "Hey, it's coming out in holiday," like I think that would be enough for me, I guess. But I agree with you to an extent, Umbra, where it's like we have so many other things that we already have release dates for them. Like, we already know are coming out this year. That it's like, I don't necessarily need this one, right? Like, because I'm looking across the pond, right? I'm looking at PlayStation and Nintendo, and to my knowledge, I don't think we have any release dates for like anything from them first party, or really even know what they're making.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
But it's Nintendo.
yeah, I know. And like, they're supposed to launch a new console this year, so presumably they're gonna have some things that launch with it. So like, they're gonna have stuff. I know they will, but and I'm not saying like that they won't have anything. I'm just saying it's like, I don't know. I don't feel hard done to, it's just like I want it, and I think it's the correct time to do it. But as long as like the other things that they show are good, and we're getting release dates for some of those things, like it does, I'm fine.
Yeah.
okay. I might have sounded a little bit harsh, but if we don't see a release date for Hellblade, at least show us something that we haven't seen yet. If it is, I swear to God, if it
I
is
thought you were
another
gonna say
close-up
something
of the
else.
emotions on our faces.
I thought you were going to
No,
say, maybe I was a little too
Hold
harsh,
up.
but if you don't see this for Hellblade, it'll be hell to pay. I thought you were going to say something like that. I don't know.
No. But I'll be on them about it. But all I'm
Yeah.
saying is, we saw before the last showing at the Game Awards, the previous 4 or 5 times we've seen it was all pretty much exactly the same stuff, and
Pretty
we saw
much.
nothing different.
Yeah.
So what's the point in showing it if you're not going to show anything new or anything different about the game? That's all I'm saying.
I'm almost
No, and I think
fearful.
you're-
I'm almost
I think you're
fearful
right to
that if
feel
they
that
do
way.
show that, knowing the dev thing, they'll probably have some kind of somewhat pseudo boring talk of like, oh, we mocapped blah blah blah. So I don't know. We'll
we
see.
mocapped a beer.
Exactly. I don't know. We'll see.
Uh,
More combat for me would do it. It show us more combat and I don't know, something like that in the release date
If it's
would be
coming out
solid.
this year, if it's coming out this year, I need at least a window for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they say
If-
fall, I'm thinking it's going to be fall anyway. So
If they just do the same thing where they explain the same things that they've explained before, and they don't talk about combat, even if they show combat, but they don't talk about it, I might lose my mind.
Same, bro.
I mean, the
Same.
rumors we've been hearing is it's mid-May. That's when it's releasing.
yeah,
Ooh.
So
To be honest with you, I wouldn't mind waiting till holiday 2024.
that's what I
For
said.
this game. I don't know
I
why.
think
I
they
mean-
have too many other games.
Too many
other
I
ones?
think this is coming
Yeah.
out.
It's supposed to,
May.
like, yeah.
You saying that
Uh,
Xbox has too many games? Dang.
They
I
do
don't
have
think
too
any-
many games. And one thing, not to look ahead of the developer direct,
What a
but
change.
I tell you what this developer direct does show, because the games that they're showing are almost like showcase level, right? I think we're all surprised how big the games are that they're showing, with the exception of Ara. But of course, that game's been coming for a while and stuff like that. But Avowed, Hellblade 2, and of course Indiana Jones, they seem like, not a small show. They seem like showcase level stuff. So that leads me to believe that we're going to see a lot of stuff at the June show that we don't know about, that we've never seen before, because we're going to get release dates or at least release windows for a lot of things that they've been showing for the last couple of years, and that stuff's going to come out, or at least coming out.
Yeah,
So
there's
what's
a
going to
lot
be at
more to
that shoot?
show. And
Right,
remember,
there's
we
a
have
lot more to
ABK.
show. When we're not going to probably see Hellblade 2, Avowed, and probably Indiana Jones at the June show. So that leaves a lot
I
of
think
new,
these are all
new
coming
Yeah, I
up
don't
reveals.
know
before
if
the
I
June
agree
showcase.
with that actually.
Yeah, that's
because I
possible.
think
Really?
I think anything that's going to be in the second half of the year, like after June, I do think we'll probably see at the June showcase to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we still don't really have a
but-
first quarter game for Xbox yet. So
No,
one of
yeah,
these
and I
games
think
is
that
likely
could be
to.
Hellblade. And if that's
Yeah.
the case, then we'll definitely get that release date. I think
True.
here's the thing. I think that the developer direct is just like, here are the things that we're doing in the next little while, even if they don't officially say that because they burned them last time. So I do think that like all of these things are coming out this year or at least soon. Like Indiana Jones, I know people are saying it's coming out 2024. They haven't confirmed that yet. So like,
Right.
I don't know. I'm still a little like maybe it won't, maybe it will. But it's like as long as we're getting release dates for those things, basically what I'm saying is people are putting a lot of pressure on the developer direct, and I'm like, well, they're not going to show everything because they got to have another big ass show in June. And that's when like all the really big stuff is going to happen. So I think the
And there's
developer
probably
direct is
other
going to
shows
be
coming too.
true.
But how big can it be?
Yeah.
Because this is pretty massive. This developer
Oh, yeah.
direct is huge.
Oh,
Like,
well, if they
they've
say
got a
Indiana
lot
Jones-
more
10
to
minutes of
show,
gameplay.
man. Because
Yeah.
the
So,
next
yeah.
one's gonna have Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
it's
that's
gonna
what I
have
mean,
State of
Huggy, like,
Decay.
The
Hold-
fact that
Hold on
they're
one
showing
second,
this
Garuda.
much
Let me
now
hear him
makes
out
me
on this one.
excited.
What
Like,
else? What else are they
Yeah.
showing, Hargy?
So we already got confirmation that Perfect Dark is showing up at the next one. Fable's going to show up. Is going to be State of Decay, right? Those games are going to have an update this coming June, right? That was from Matt Booty. So we should be expecting an even bigger. And remember, ABK is still there.
Right.
We still have all
Mm.
those games that ABK has yet to announce,
Wow.
right? That's still to come. And there's some pretty big ones there too.
What about like
So-
Abdel just posted, of course, like besides State of Decay and Perfect Dark. What about like the like Contraband, Everwild, things like that? Wu-Tang.
Contraband is due this year too, so
Yeah.
we'll see if that comes
Mm.
out. We still have there's still Towerborn and
so
right,
many
like,
games.
there's a lot, and there's the Call of Duty, which will definitely be at the June showcase, I would expect, right? Because now it's Xbox,
Mm.
right? So you're gonna have that there. There's a lot to go through. So the June showcase is gonna be even crazier than last year's June showcase.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
Assuming they
that's
do one.
kind
I
of-
assume they're gonna do one, but
That's
I think
actually
that's kind of
pretty
also
crazy.
why I don't like 100% need a release date from Hellblade. Like I want it for sure, obviously, and it's just because like I'm eating good. Like I
Yeah.
like
Same.
I'm
I
doing
really
alright.
do think this is the beginning of the year stuff because they just have
Yeah.
so much more to do, right?
Mhm.
And then there's all these rumors about a Gears collection, a Marcus Phoenix collection. There's potentially an Oblivion remaster,
Yes.
a remake, right?
Yep.
Again,
Still
there's
haven't
so
got
much.
the Fallout 4.
Yeah, there's so much to come, right?
Yeah.
And so they got to put it out sometime, right? So you got all that. I don't know. I think this is really the beginning of the year for them.
Same.
And Shadow Drop, we've heard the rumors that it's Double Fine's kiln. I don't
Right.
know if that's the case or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, right? But
I can see it.
I think they will do a Shadow Drop. And look, to me, a Shadow Drop even includes a massive DLC, so they could do that.
Like
We
the
now have to
Starfield
look.
one.
It could be Starfield, but it could be something different.
Mm.
But we also have to look at PC now, right? Because they have Blizzard, and they have this big
Yeah.
trilogy coming out for World of Warcraft.
I
Right.
think they
That's
said
all
that
first
Activision
party
Blizzard
now.
Stuff wouldn't be at this,
Right?
though.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be
Activision
here.
stuff
I
won't
mean,
be
at the
here.
June
Right.
showcase. I'm talking about the June showcase, right? Because
Oh.
now you have to say, hey, that all counts, right?
Mhm.
You still have Flight Sim 2024 coming at some point, et cetera, et cetera. It's just so much on their roadmap
It's a
that
crazy
it's
amount.
crazy.
It
This
is.
year
Crazy.
probably has like 15 games easily that we already know about,
Mhm.
and then there's going to be more surprises we don't know about.
Yeah.
So
We're in a true golden age, man.
This
This
is
is
a
the best
crazy
time I
year
can
for
ever remember in gaming. It's
for
the best time.
Xbox particularly.
yes,
Without
Yeah.
question.
and then in a couple of years for PlayStation, but hey, whatever.
Exactly.
Here's hoping.
Hey, the sun don't shine forever. Ain't that right, PlayStation? No, I'm joking. Yeah, like Tim Purr pointed out in the chat, we can have 7 first-party games this year, maybe more. Like, I can't even imagine if they do that, man. And 2023 was already a solid year for them, so that would be insane. But I will agree, like the 4 games I listed here, and Marcus Phoenix Collection is leading the pack with 55%, by the way. So you got, if anyone hasn't voted yet, please vote so I can end the poll. Yeah, Stalker 2, Towerborn, Marcus Phoenix Collection, Halo Infinite Battle Royale, or whatever that may be from certain affinity. So far, Marcus Phoenix Collection is ruling the day. Everybody wants that. But I would say this, if to go to your point, Abdul, if Oblivion remake is a thing that comes this year and drops this year, that is on my Mount Rushmore. that would take it over anything on this list and then some. I would absolutely want that.
I mean,
more
the
than
Marcus
anything.
Phoenix collection is pretty impressive too, right?
It
If
is.
from what we're hearing,
Yeah.
it could be a pretty good remake, right? That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
We still haven't talked about Clockwork Revolution,
Oh,
South
yeah.
of Midnight,
Yep.
potential for Forza Horizon 6. So those are all kind of due, right? So
I hope not.
There's
for,
a lot.
I hope not for Horizon 6. I'll say that because for Forza Horizon 6, I don't think they need to drop that soon. We just got
But for the
Motorsport.
timeline, they're due.
It's
They
due,
are.
yeah.
I just hope they don't.
It's due.
I
Yeah.
really hope they don't, though. I just give them more time because you got so much stacked already. You just had Motorsport. It's like, yeah, let it get its window a little bit. That's the way I see it. But, you know.
There's
Umbra,
just-
regarding you, like you said about Oblivion, that would be right up there for me if they announce that. But for me, with the Marcus Phoenix collection and the rumored Oblivion remake remaster, for me it depends on what scope or scale these games have been redone. If they're just simple remasters, I don't think I have too much interest. But if at least one of the Gears of War games are fully remade in Unreal Engine 5, I'll be super hyped. And if Oblivion is fully remade from the ground up, man, that's almost going to be my most anticipated as well.
Yeah.
I just hope they fully remake it instead of just remaster.
Yeah, I hear you guys. Sensei said they can give COD its own direct in May and June if they want it. They absolutely could. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. If you guys haven't voted, ending it now. Halo has 3%. You all need to put some respect on Halo Infinite's name. I'm not feeling this right here.
So here's an interesting question for you guys.
Go ahead.
Indiana Jones is coming out in this Dev Direct.
Yeah.
I would have thought that would have been a pretty big IP, and you would say, hey, this is something they should have shown at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
But they skipped it, right? It's not like
True.
they didn't have this ready, right? Because obviously they're doing it a few weeks later. So why didn't they just put it at the Game Awards? Is it because they think it's a smaller game? They want to pull more eyes to the Dev Direct? It's not going to be as big as the Game Awards. There's like 120 million people watch that, right? So how do you why wouldn't they have brought it at the Game Awards?
That's actually a good
Maybe
question.
they didn't want to take away from Blade. Maybe Blade was such a big announcement they didn't want to overshadow
Fair
or make
point.
it clash. Maybe or
That's actually a
don't
fair
know, but-
point, actually. Now that you mentioned that. Blade was shown off
I
there.
would have done that. I would have still done it, right?
Yeah.
Just say, hey, look, here's a teaser for a minute, right? And more to come next year,
Yeah.
right? So I think they could. So I mean, they already own the Game Awards as far as announcements, right?
No question.
OD with Kojima,
Mhm.
Blade, and then they showed Hellblade actual
Combat.
right?
Yep.
So they already did that, and if they added the fourth, they basically just tell people you need to be on Xbox, right? That would just solidify it right there. Why not do it?
Much more eyes too. So I definitely get what you mean there. I agree with that, but I think it's just the thing of balancing. Like the balancing act is saying, hey, we got enough here. We're going to have our now what seems to be annual developer direct in January. Let's have some stuff here for that. I think that's what it is ultimately.
Well, maybe
also
they
think
sit
because
Machine
Indiana
Games
Jones is like a known quantity. It was already announced
Mhm.
that you can just say like, "Hey, we're gonna have this at our own thing," and then that draws more eyes to your thing. Like it won't be as much as the Game Awards, obviously,
Right.
but people already know that Indiana Jones is gonna be there, right? Like,
Mhm.
or people already know that Indiana Jones exists. So
True.
it's not like a big announcement. It's just like we're going to show it off here, and I think they want to build the sort of prestige of their own events. And
Yeah.
so I think that this is the way to do it, because as much as I love Hellblade and Avowed, like I think those are going to be really good games. Having something like Indiana Jones there is going to bring in a lot more. Like you're going to see a lot more live reacts to this because Indiana Jones is there.
That's
You know
a
what I
fair
mean?
point. I agree with that.
That's true.
You know, so
like
that-
they could have put it anywhere.
They
and it
could
would've been
have.
fine.
So I got a question to that concerning Indiana Jones. I guess I'll start off with this. By the way, Marcus Phoenix won the poll. 44% would like that to be the shadow drop. Although it's not technically a shadow. Well, I guess it is because it's not
It's
confirmed.
not technically announced. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not announced.
So that could be it. So I'm all for it if it is. No objections. But I would absolutely take Oblivion remake over it any day of the week. But just to
I mean,
say,
same.
I'm sorry, I would. So to Indiana Jones, to you guys, like, are you all? I'm going to ask two questions, twofold, I guess, and and I'll start with you, Garuda, and we'll move to Hargeet, to you, Dusty, and then of course you, Danny. As far as it goes, are you big fans of Indiana Jones? Like, Harrison Ford is my favorite actor of all time, so I couldn't be more excited. So, for one, are you actually fans of Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford? Two, do you think, as far as with Indiana Jones, I had a question and almost forgot it in my head. The perspective. What perspective would you want the game to be in? First person or third person? And what do you think they'll do with that?
Okay, so as far as my sort of feeling on Indiana Jones, I've seen the movies when I was a kid, haven't seen them since then, and totally would not even be able to recall much about them. So I wouldn't say I'm a great big fan or anything like that. And I do wanted to rewatch those movies before the game comes out, just so that I can get back in the mood for it. But as far as the perspective of the game, I think it's no question that it should be third person. I know that MachineGames excels with first person combat, and their games are acclaimed, like the Wolfenstein games play amazingly. But if you're going to have an iconic character as someone like Indiana Jones that's recognizable to anyone, gaming or not, you need to see him, right? You need, and I think as far as the whip action and some of the jumping and swinging mechanics that are going to be in the game, and the climbing that he does, it's going to be extremely difficult or awkward in first person to achieve that. And it won't be as much of a visual spectacle either if they stay in first person. So I think it has to be third. They might mix elements as some people have suggested. But for me, I think this is going to hit big for Xbox, just because Uncharted has been taking quite a rest for a long time. And of course, Uncharted wouldn't exist, and Nathan Drake as a character, if it wasn't for Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider for that matter. And I think that this space has been dormant for a little while. This sort of adventure kind of Tomb Raiding sort of adventure kind of game. And I think that fans are ready for something like that again. And I think it's going to hit big for Xbox. I really do. I just hope that they lean into the cinematic third-person action adventure kind of theme with it. Mm-hmm. I know that it's a cinematic IP. And I think that if they don't lean into that heavily, which is what Xbox really needs, they've got that kind of missing in their lineup, in their library. I think if they don't lean into that, it's a miss. So yeah, third person for me, high visual fidelity, focus on cinematics and exploration, very Uncharted style. I want them to out Uncharted. That's what I want them to try and do, essentially. Yeah, that's where I hope they go with it.
I agree with a lot of that, particularly in the whole cinematic department. I know some people are like, we don't need that, but like one of my chief complaints about Starfield, Danny, if you remember, I was saying how Bethesda is so set in their ways that they don't have set pieces and things like that. And now we're in 2024, crazy good hardware. We could Starfield would have been elevated so much more if it had actual action set pieces that happened and actual cutscenes and things of that nature. So I think this game would benefit from that greatly. So I'm with you on a lot of what you said. And I'll give my thoughts after all of you guys have said yours. Hargeet, what about you, brother? What are you feeling about that? As far as, are you a big fan of Indiana Jones? Do you care for it or not? Have you seen him? Indifferent, new to it, or whatever? And what perspective would you want the game to be in?
You know, I like the original trilogy of Indiana Jones. I don't know that the other ones need to exist, but they do, unfortunately. But but the first three are great, especially Last Crusade. I loved it. So yeah, as far as perspective, I'm okay with either way, but I really do think it would be a bit better if it was third person. And it's what you just mentioned. It's those set pieces. You want to have sort of like cinematic to you're now playing, and then to cinematic, right? And that really just kind of flows better if you're in a third person viewpoint. And I think that's something that Microsoft kind of Xbox kind of lacks a little bit. And I think this would be one of those games that just kind of really lends itself to that. Like, why not do it? You already have a movie series that kind of did that, right? They had set pieces and and big action moments and stuff, and like why not just do that, right? This is a perfect time to do it. And given where Bethesda was, they may not have been able to afford to do that. But now that they're part of Xbox, they can do that. They can afford to do it, right? Like they did with Double Fine, with Psychonauts 2. They say, hey, what do you need to make this, better? And they're like, hey, we just needed more money to actually do the boss battles. We just couldn't afford to do it. It's like, okay, go ahead, take the extra year. Here's the funds, go do that, right? I hope they took the same approach here to say, hey, let's fund this to make it as cinematic and set piece based as it should be, and let's have those big action moments. I hope they did that, and that kind of lends itself to that third person. What I'm hearing is it's first person with some third person moments, and I don't know if that's really what would be a good fit. Again, I'm okay with it being first person, but I kind of like the idea of it being third person, and it kind of plays into that, that cinematic, set piece based game. So it has that potential, right? So I wish they would go down that path. We'll see what they do. I also hope they actually funded it to that point, so that it does actually have all that, and it's not just straight action, right? So I don't know what they're going to end up with, but I hope that's what they do, because it really the IP just lends itself to doing that.
It does.
So why not just go into it, just use it, right? Do it. It's good for Disney. It's good for Xbox, and they have the talent. They have the ability to do it. Like, just spend the money and do it, right? So I hope that's the way they went with it. The other question I have is, will it be Harrison Ford? I hear mixed things about, like, well, first, he's old, but it's like, that doesn't matter. You can use AI to make him sound younger. Would it be too much money? I'm like, I don't care. It's Harrison Ford is Indiana. Why not just freaking get Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones?
I agree. I saw you guys talking about that on the show the other day. I'm like,
I want him to go after Harrison Ford.
Yeah, get Harrison Ford. Absolutely.
And like, let's get Indiana Jones as Indiana Jones.
Right? Exactly. So, I don't want to fake somebody that does not sound like him.
Yeah, exactly.
This is an IP that can bring people to your platform, right? You don't want people from outside the Xbox ecosystem to look at this Xbox exclusive Indiana Jones game and say, hey, that's not Indiana Jones.
Right. And cheap out on that specific piece. Like, come on, like just go for it. Like, get Harrison Ford. Let's get Indiana Jones be Indiana Jones. Yes, you can use AI to make him sound younger. That's fine. Right. So that I hope they actually did that. Like, those are the kind of things I'd like to see. Like, I want Microsoft to lean in and say, hey, we're going to make this that Sony-like game, right? This is going to be a PlayStation-like, cinematic with, set pieces, big action sequences, right? Why not? Like finally do one of those, right? Let's go in, right?
Completely agree.
You have a Disney IP here, just like Marvel with Spider-Man, right? Let's do it. Let's go, right? So I think they should do that. Hopefully that's what they do.
Yeah, completely agreed. Dusty, what about you, brother? Have you watched the old movies? Are you up on them? And I hope you didn't watch the new movies and that peppered your thoughts. But and what perspective would you prefer the game to be in for yourself?
So, as some of you know, I grew up in the movie industry because of my father, and continued in it through myself with dance. So I grew up on those movies heavily, and I mentioned that because my dad did some sound production work for those movies, so they were very important to us in our family. We even had them back in the day on Laserdisc. That's how serious my dad was. Like, we had to have the whole collection at that time on Laserdisc, and we would always watch them as a family, and it was our thing to do. So when I saw that this was first announced, I lost my shit. I was like, finally, and the first thing that popped in my head was, okay, so is this going to be along the lines of like Uncharted or whatever, Tomb Raider and all of that? And for me, it's just kind of like, I don't really care whichever, as long as everything in it is it makes sense. It has the nostalgia that it needs, for those of us that grew up on it. It has what it needs for those who haven't grown up on indie, but when they see the game, they have an interest in it. I'm super excited, and to see that this is going to be at the developer direct, I like, this is one game I don't need a release date for. Just show me more of what you got going on. I'm super excited. I'm such an Indiana Jones fan. Like, you can say whichever movie sucked or was good or this or that, but regardless, like, if you're a fan, you watched anyway, and I'm that type of fan when it comes to Indiana Jones. I still have to see the last movie. I haven't had time to watch it myself. But I don't know. As far as you said earlier, what perspective would I like it to be in? To be honest with you, I'm kind of spoiled by Starfield. I need like 3 different perspectives. I need first person. Yeah, like, because Starfield gives you 3. Like, you have first person, you have first over the shoulder or whatever it is, and then you have true third person. And
I didn't really consider it over the shoulder different. I think that's still like third person. I think.
And
third person.
That's the thing, though, perspective. Yeah. Exactly. And they did that because they knew, there's going to be some Sony players out there looking for that when it comes to Starfield and the type of game that it is. Maybe they want that over the shoulder experience. And then there's somebody like me who would rather be full, like what I would call full third person, not over the shoulder third person, because to me that's kind of like 2.5 third person. Or bird's eye view third person, if you will.
Right.
But for Indiana Jones, like, because of Starfield, if you could give me those 3 options, that would be freaking fantastic. Like, but in all honesty, I think third person would be best for a game like this. That's just my opinion. But I say that, and then I'm excited for a game, and it comes out in strictly first. But because it's Indiana Jones, I'll check it out. I'll play it. But if you want me to put in more time to a game like that, for a gamer like me, make it third person. Just because I'm not good with like first person only perspective games. Like, it doesn't look like I'm looking in first person, and it doesn't sell me. It never really has. I don't think there's ever really been a game where I'm like, oh my god, this first person aspect feels so real. Like, what I'm looking at looks real, but the first person aspect of it doesn't, to me, a lot of the times. I don't feel like my head is on my neck and my shoulders and all of that. And I do try to suspend disbelief and use my imagination as much as I can, but that's why I'm not good with first person games most of the times, because no matter how well you make the game, I can't suspend my disbelief enough that I'm looking through a first person perspective. You'd have to give me a curved monitor.
Changes for you on that, huh?
Yeah, no, you have to give me a curved monitor that goes completely around my head for me to feel like I'm actually there in first person.
VR monitor, literally, But
I
don't know. Some games can do that.
You can drive cars in first person. I don't understand you. Like, if you're using a steering wheel, fine. But like, people who play racing games in first person, I salute you, because I cannot. I'd be going all off the course.
It's a little difficult, but I guess it depends on whatever car you're in. But I would say this: like, there are some games where I definitely get what you mean. But playing games like Oblivion, for instance, all first person, I was fully engulfed into that world. I keep going back to Oblivion because I'm trying to speak that remake into existence to happen, but this year. But no, like, I
feel
it.
that, yeah,
I get it. But like, at some games, to me, I think work well from that perspective.
And don't get me wrong, like I agree. Some games, it's like, it's so good, it's like you get lost in it, and I have before as well. Don't get me wrong. But overall, the general thing is, I don't always get that feeling with most games that come out in first person. It's very rare where I see a first person game and I'm like, wow, I'm really immersed right now. But for Indiana Jones, I don't know. It's like, when I think about Indiana Jones and how, like, what he wears, how he dresses, his whole outfit, everything about it is iconic. Every part of what he does and what he wears, where he goes and how he does that is all iconic. And so to only be in first person for a game like this, I feel like I would miss out on feeling like indie, because I can't see indie. You know what I mean?
There's no way the game will be first person, in my opinion. I just think it's no chance that it will be first.
Especially if it's Uncharted, Tomb Raider, like, I don't think they can do first person.
So,
with that.
Danny, what's your thoughts on it as far as this goes? What's your feeling on it? You big on the series, and what perspective or whatever would you prefer?
I don't know that I can really call myself like a big fan of Indiana Jones. I like it. I like respect it, but it's never been one where I'm like, man, yeah, Indiana Jones, that's my bag, dude. But I really enjoyed the first 3 movies.
Yeah,
I watched them as a kid. Haven't really felt the need to go back and rewatch them. I watched the Alien one that was not good, and then I didn't watch Dial of Destiny. But even so, like, it's that situation where, like, if one of my friends had been like, you want to go see that? I'd be like, yeah, let's go see that. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely a movie that I would be willing to see as like an excuse to hang out with friends. So I don't have like huge attachment to Indiana Jones. I think that it's iconic for sure and like a legendary franchise. It's just not something that's ever been really big for me personally. But I'm excited for it, right? I think if they strike into like the original trilogy, I guess you would call it, vibe of it, I think that would be pretty good. You know, if it's Indiana Jones punching Nazis and finding holy relics or whatever, like, I'm down. Like, that sounds like a lot of fun. You know what I mean? It's the precursor to Uncharted and Tomb Raider. Like, there's a whole bunch of, you know, big video game franchises that have spun off of the idea of the Indiana Jones, like, I almost said great.
I think that's
Tomb Raider
father,
type thing.
right?
I think that's a great point to make. Indiana Jones created these other franchises, so this game has to hit. It has to.
I mean, it doesn't have to. Like, it could be bad. I don't think it will.
No, it could be bad. No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it could come out bad. You know, anything can happen to any game. What I'm saying is, because Indiana Jones is the reason for any of these other franchises to exist, this game needs to hit. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be an Xbox downer if it didn't hit. It would be a nostalgia downer. It would be a history downer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be bummed about it for sure.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I think it's got to at least match the best Tomb Raiders and Uncharted's. I think it has to go in that direction because it's the reason it's spawned those franchises. I think it's got to match those.
Like, it doesn't need to be better. It just needs to hit.
Yeah.
So this is my thinking on it, and this is where I'm at with it. I agree with a lot of you guys' takes on it. Absolutely, I think it should be cinematic. I think it will be because MachineGames have shown that.
But I also think it should be
hell
third
yeah.
person.
And you think it should be first person?
I think it should be third person.
Okay,
sure.
third person.
I think that's the one that makes the most sense. I think everyone already said it to death, right? Like, you have an iconic character, you got to show him.
You got to show him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys.
I agree
on
with
that.
Tryhard Fan.
Yeah, for me, I think it's you know, Bethesda own studio. Show both perspectives. We should be able to switch to whatever.
Yeah, you should be able to have a choice, especially if you're hunting relics. Because the one thing I did enjoy about Starfield, for somebody who's not a first-person player, I did find myself switching to first-person when I was looking at things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that having that option, like, and I was even using over the shoulder. So being able to have that option for a game like this, I think would be really great, and it would cater to everyone. But it's true, like Tryhard Fan said, it was either Tryhard Fan or somebody else said, like, imagine trying to climb and scale in first person. You know what I mean? Like, that would really bother me, and I feel like just give me a VR headset at that point.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not too keen on VR, but I will agree. Like, yeah, give me the different perspectives, allow me to do that, right?
Yeah,
we don't know how it will work as far as traversal, because he has the whip. They can make it where you latch on to things first person and, you know, swing around.
Oh, I can't wait for the crack of that whip.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, whoa, hold on. You got too excited with the crack of the whip. Wait a minute.
Oh, no. So,
but Chains and Whip's exciting.
So,
wait a minute.
So anyway, because
wait a minute.
Off of that, you know what I'm saying? No,
Wait, are we talking about Baldur's Gate again?
the sound effects of Indiana Jones. The sound effects of Indiana Jones probably by far have to be the most iconic parts of the movies. Like the sound when he punches somebody, the way he cracks the whip, you know, the way the dialogue is spoken. All of that is super important, and this game needs that. If the whip does not crack the way it did in the movies, when I punch somebody, a Nazi in the face or whoever it is,
I do want to hear that sound. I do want to hear that punching sound. I will agree with there. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, Indiana Jones to me has like a one-of-one type of soundstage when it
does.
comes to
Yeah.
their sound effects. Like people can try to copy it, but it will never have the same depth.
It's, you know, it's interesting you brought that up. I didn't even think about it like that, but you're right. Indiana Jones, that if you all have watched it, you know it has a very specific, almost Batman 64-esque sound quality to how they punch people in there, and it's very, very superhero-ish when he's like real sound, like real thick.
Like it's almost comic booky. Like you expect sounds to like
very
pop out
comic
in
book
words,
style.
you know?
Yep, I agree. Without the pow on the screen, that's exactly what it feels like, or at least how it sounds.
I love it.
So yeah, I would actually like that they stay stuck to that. I think they're going to do that actually. So I'll give them that much. With it being MachineGames, my thinking is that it will be first person perspective. I hope though that they're going to go out of their wheelhouse and make it both third and first.
You gotta cater.
To go to you guys' points, exactly. You have to see them, and like Hargeet pointed out, you have to have Harrison Ford voice him. If you can't get him to do it, you at least have to have somebody who sounds like him.
Or just AI all of the dialogue he's ever done. AI all of the dialogue he's
They
ever
couldn't do
done.
that. They would have a SAG after
No, no, no.
Absolutely.
With his consent, obviously. What I'm saying is, like, if he can't perform like younger dialogue because they just can't adjust his voice well enough,
right?
Use AI with his consent. Use AI with the dialogue he's already done. If you're not creating new dialogue, well, maybe, but you're using dialogue he's already done in all of the content and all of the past. And you don't forget, there is Young Indie, the TV show that happened.
Yeah.
So you have that dialogue too, and you have that young actor. So if you have young scenes for some reason, like a throwback, like a flashback moment, you have that as well too, and you can use AI to develop off of that, as long as you have consent.
I wonder though, even if it's
performer.
beyond the consent, because I think it's also, you know, the unions. So the whole SAG-AFTRA thing. I know that they now just passed the whole AI thing. I know you saw that, right, Danny? What they were saying?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So I wonder how that'll play out, but I think it's beyond just him giving his okay. Like it has to go through them too. I think. I don't think it's just.
There's a lot of channels.
It's a lot of background work that has to be done for them
but
to
if
do something like that.
But if he's okay with it, I don't see those channels having a big problem with it.
It'll probably just be a sound alike. Like that's the most likely scenario. I just can't imagine that Harrison Ford would want to do it, quite frankly.
Why not?
I mean, with a big enough bag.
He's a busy man.
I think
big enough bag.
He's flying airplanes on.
Sure, he can put the airplane down for a second and do a voiceover or two if he paid enough.
I also don't necessarily know that he would be great at like VO work.
Yeah,
very different from acting.
That's fair. I mean, I think though what it is that Harrison Ford is the kind of guy is like, man, I don't care. Like, you know how he feels on Star Wars. I don't know if he would care enough to do this the right way like that.
Oh yeah, Star Wars where he was like, I'll come back if I can die.
That's messed up.
He said that. That was his real thing.
I know, that's messed up.
In the campaign for Battlefront 2, did he do his own voice?
I don't know either. We should look into
probably
that.
Credited, but let me see.
I was going to say, AJH said Master Chief and Doomslayer are iconic. We don't need to see them. Hey, good point. However, they're not licensed characters either. And somebody like Spider-Man, for instance, you would want to see Spider-Man. You don't want to just see his arms.
Right. Indiana Jones is cinema, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point, you know.
Yeah.
Bro, they better announce that freaking Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 are now active on the freaking store of Xbox. That better be at this.
I would like that. They won't do that there though. It's Activision, so that won't be happening. But
I know.
But just to say, and move on to our final thing. Let me read the super chat by Splendiferous. Splendiferous drops a generous $5 donation. He says Stalker 2 should have its own direct. A lot happened to those guys. Imagine going to bed, wake up in bombs, running and losing your fellow devs in a blink. I'm praying.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely, brother.
Even your fellow devs becoming soldiers, like literally in the blink of an eye, right in front of you.
That is insane.
So in Battlefront 2, he was voiced by a guy called Lex Lang, who apparently has voice acted him in just a ton of stuff.
So maybe that's who they're going to use.
Almost certainly it's going to be him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as they have his likeness and, you know, we can see him, I guess that'll be some of the trade-off. As long as they have the Lang guy, he sounds like him. I'll get over it. But I feel like, man, why not have him? But if you could. But if not, hey, it is what it is. But
The other
let's
thing is what.
yeah.
Sorry, no, go on, mate. Go on.
No, go because I'm going to move to the next topic. So go ahead. Say
Yeah,
what
no,
you wanna
just
say.
quickly. The other thing is, what kind of game is this going to be? Is it going to be a very linear kind of, sort of Uncharted-esque game, or are they going to open it up a little bit and allow a little bit more free exploration? That's going to be interesting to see.
Well, I wonder if it's a mix of both. You know,
Yeah.
kind of like Jedi Survivor, more so than Fallen Order.
What if we're getting our hypes up like this and our hopes and such up and things like that, and the game is like a, I don't know, a story
Double
type
A
game.
level, nothing.
Yeah. What
Double A.
if it's-
It's
what if-
like a puzzle quest.
yeah. What if it's
Yeah.
like a Telltale
And that's why I was
game?
asking why not bring it at the Game Awards, and maybe that is the reason. Is like it's just really
Oh.
not that big.
Maybe the budget's not there. Yeah.
What if that's
Yeah.
the case?
Mhm.
Oh, man.
But see,
No,
but see,
don't
now
do
when
us
it-
like
That
that,
would be
man.
such a deflation of
but
hype.
this is Indiana Jones, Machine Games, and Bethesda. Like,
Yeah, you
you
don't
can't
put
do that to
Machine
indie.
Games on it to do that, right? But
yeah,
very
like
true.
this is indie. Like, you can't. And very few fans, let alone gamers,
What
let
if they
alone fans,
did?
are looking forward to this.
but
you know?
what if they did though? And they're like, we want to step out of our
Man.
wheelhouse and give you a story
I
type
have an
game.
update.
right?
I'm throwing all the tomatoes.
It's not official yet.
Yeah.
But everyone thinks it's going to be this guy called John Armstrong, who has voiced both Han Solo and Indiana Jones in all kinds of stuff.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
He was
cool,
Han Solo
cool.
in
I'm cool with
Force Unleashed games. He was Indiana Jones in like Staff of Kings and the Lego one, which I didn't realize he was voiced in.
I gotta
and
check
then he
those
was
out.
Han
I'm gonna
Solo
check
in
his
the
work
old
out.
Battlefronts. A bunch of the
Nice.
older games too. So
Okay.
it's
I'll check 'em
apparently
out and
that's the
see.
rumor, but
Yeah.
it's not.
That would be
confirmed
cool.
yet.
That would be pretty cool. So
That's
let's.
cool. Yeah.
I want to move to the last topic really quick. We'll get through it really quick because this discussion has been had. I think we all have our thoughts on it. And I'm not going to drag it out because this good news of the direct replaced it really. But for just get you gentlemen's thought, and you all can jump in and just give each other space to say what you got to say and kind of do it as brisk as you can. Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves. The speculation is from a gentleman named Nate the Hate, who has been fairly reliable in some of his leaks and things like that, who is saying that both of those games will be going to other platforms, notably Nintendo and PlayStation in particular. Hi-Fi
Good.
Rush is the speculation that it will likely go to Nintendo Switch, Sea of Thieves, possibly to both. What are you guys' thoughts
No,
about
it's
this?
Hi-Fi is on both as well. It's already been
Hi-Fi on
rated.
both as well? Okay.
It's been rated in Australia for both PlayStation and Switch.
Oh, so it's true.
What?
It's been rated already?
Are you serious?
It's been rated.
No.
Hargeet, you got to start it off then. So let me get your thoughts on that, brother. What's your
Well,
thoughts on this? Yeah.
I think this is ridiculously stupid, but this is what they're gonna do. So this is basically just starting the path of becoming third party, which ultimately for the platform means there's no point in the platform. Look, in the US, at least Xbox does okay, right? In the rest of the world, that's not the case. And if you're trying to make a pitch for your console to be bought in those countries, well, you have to have exclusive games. If you're saying that your games are exclusive for like a year or two, well, then everybody's just going to wait. Like, because why would you bother buying another box when you could just wait and your Nintendo or PlayStation can play those games? So they're not going to sell their console. And the problem with that isn't that, hey, we're not going to get all these Xbox games. No, we're not going to get the other games, right? They finally are starting to say, oh, Square is going to put their games on Xbox. Sega is putting their games on Xbox. Koei Tecmo, et cetera, right? All these games that were being skipped are now going to come. They're not going to, because they're not going to sell enough consoles. That's the problem with this, right? So I just don't see the value. You're just starting to cook. You're starting to put out so many games that it becomes compelling enough to say, I got to have an Xbox to play these games. Why sabotage it now?
Yeah.
There's just no point. I just don't see why
opinion.
they're doing this. It's not about money. It's definitely not about money. They make way more than enough. It's not about money. This is about like regulators. I think that's what this is. It's about them saying, we want to get to the point of buying Take-Two. We're going to go buy, Embracer or Ubisoft, and we want to not have this problem. So we're just going to say we put our games everywhere, right? But the downside is there is no console anymore. You might as well just give up on it.
No,
So
exactly.
that is where we are.
It's very contradictory to the business model that they've told us they're working towards. If
Well,
you're
let
trying
me
to
just,
attract people to Game Pass,
jump in here real
like,
fast actually because I
yeah.
have some news on this. I looked it up.
okay.
So it's already been debunked. That rating was not for PlayStation 5 or Switch. Well, it was for Switch, but it was before the acquisition, and it was rated as a game called Project 2022A, and it was only ever rated for the PlayStation 4 and the Switch, and people assume that it might have been Hi-Fi Rush. So it's
Oh,
not
thank the
confirmed.
gaming gods, bro. Thank
So
the
you'll be
gaming gods.
actually
Exactly.
talking
So,
to
so
too.
if that's the
And
case, then
it
we
was
have the potential
release
that at least this is not going to actually happen, right?
Right.
And which is why I'm very vocal about being against it,
Mhm.
because they need to hear like this is a stupid idea. Don't do it.
Yep. I agree. And the thing is about it is, see, we can actually say that in our community. Some people
Yeah.
like they're not going to listen to you. Well, they've shown they actually absolutely do listen to us.
They do.
So we should voice our displeasure on it. Yobi actually spoke on it too, Danny. He says that it was rated, but that was from what he saw back in 2020. So for all platforms, like you
yeah,
just
because
said.
it was only for PS4. It wasn't rated for PS5,
Yeah.
which had people confused. But also, it wasn't even rated under the name Hi-Fi Rush. It was under
Right,
some
the
like,
whole
code
different
name.
code. Okay,
Which
gotcha.
is awesome.
Perfect.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's those two games, I don't care. But if you're gonna go beyond that and do more
Mhm.
and more and more and more, then yes, it defeats the purpose of why should you invest
But
in
let
Xbox.
me
because
push back on you a little bit on it and ask you this. So
let me say this real quick.
yeah, go ahead.
So it defeats the purpose, but if it's just those two games and then similar games like it filtered out every now and then and it's not all the time, I don't care. Because it's Hi-Fi Rush, more people should play it. It's a great game. Hold on. Steve,
I'll let you go after it then, Garuda. I'll let you just go after
Hold
he
on.
finishes.
Hold on.
I'm holding on.
I heard the groan.
The thing is that
He's like,
the thing is, this was true. If this was true, how long has Hi-Fi Rush been out? For Xbox only, or whatever, and
1 year.
then maybe PlayStation and Nintendo get it. Maybe they do. You know what I mean? And it would still be some time before it even releases for them. I call that a console exclusive, which PlayStation likes to do. So if we're going to fight back, might as well do the same thing they do. Why not? Then beyond that, like I said, Sea of Thieves is a free-to-play game that, in my opinion, should be on every platform because it's a great game and everybody should be playing it. And it shouldn't just be Xbox now at this point after all of these years. That's how I look at it.
I've got plenty to say
However-
against that, but I'll let Garuda go
Yeah.
first.
I'll let you both go. So
I won't
Garuda say
drag it out like
yours.
you said,
And,
Umbra.
yeah,
Like
then
I
you go
said,
argue.
like I said, if it's a filter with these two games, if it's a filter to start doing it with a whole bunch of more games, that I do not agree with.
Okay.
Like, if PlayStation wants a game, okay, well, here, you get one.
Oh, hell
You
no.
need games.
I'm going to let Garuda go. I don't like the way you just said that. That didn't sound good to me at all.
Okay. I like
You want a
the dissenting
game? Here you
opinion,
go.
and it's good.
You
This
get
makes for
one.
great
You need
discussion.
games. You have no games. You need games. So here, you get one. But
Oh,
if you think
hey.
that you're going to get everything because you got this one, hell no.
Well, okay.
Maybe
So I want to get
you
Garuda and
can
Hargeet to
find-
get their thoughts and Danny's, and I'll save mine on
Yeah.
that. And so go ahead.
I'll be real
Garuda.
quick. Thanks, man. I'll be real quick. I've got three points of rebuttal, I guess, against what you've said there. Very interesting. However, just quickly, Sea of Thieves, to my knowledge, it's not a free-to-play game, so it would only be sort of. It's not something that's sort of open slather for everyone at the moment. So that's a paid game at the moment. But just
Never
on
paid for it.
Hi-Fi Rush just on Hi-Fi Rush especially, that game, the reason why that can absolutely not go to even Switch is because it's a potential mascot for the Xbox brand. And
Sure,
we
I
know
agree with
ever since the slight sort of I don't want to say decline, but look, decline of the Master Chief and the Halo franchise, probably from the forefront of gaming. Xbox has been crying out for this universal mascot, and Chai and 808, they absolutely feel that. Quality game, very broadly appealing character, and it can really identify with the Xbox brand and attract people into your ecosystems. And it's a single player game also. So
Yeah.
I think that the returns are really diminishing for Xbox to even put it on another platform. Like, I just don't think it's worth it. I think they're going to lose more than they gain by doing that. I think the money they gain by putting they gain by the money. Sorry, quickly, the money they gain by putting it on other platforms is going to be lost in mind share, potential mascot, all these kind of things. It's not going to be worth it. Even Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is doing fantastically. It's amazingly profitable. It's got tons of content. What more do they really need? It's already on every other platform.
Doing really, really well. Yep.
It's making bank. It's not like it's not making bank. And if you are trying to attract people to the Game Pass platform, and I'll use Phil Spencer's quote as a reference, it's about shipping games on platforms where Xbox Game Pass exists, right? And this would go against everything he's been preaching if they do that. It's totally counterproductive to the business model that they've put forth and what Game Pass is. So the only way I could ever see these games going to other platforms is, right, it does. And the only way I can see these games going to other platforms, if it indeed is through Game Pass being on other platforms, and they don't want Game Pass because it makes their own services and their own ecosystem look shit. So
you hit it on the head.
So I think this can't happen.
You hit it on the head, Garuda. You're very nice about it. My thinking was exactly that it creates more problems than it solves. Also, what's the give and take here? Because if we're just giving you stuff, like when you said hell PlayStation, you needed
that one.
Yeah, it's like what? I'm not giving you that. But like, if they had Game Pass, for instance, that would be the takeaway, right?
Game, like, who cares?
So Dusty, you kind of going in and out. Yeah, your mic is.
Something's going on with your mic.
Yeah,
I have no idea. It's like right in front of me.
It's like a distorted sound a bit.
All I said was like, it's one game. I don't care.
Yeah, but I don't want them giving away any game.
But no, here's the thing. I feel that too, but at the same time, I'm also the type of gamer that's like, everybody should be playing everything.
Yeah, but we have that argument on the PlayStation. Let's argue for them to bring.
I don't see God of War on my Xbox.
Yeah,
but for Xbox, it's like I literally made my point. I said, if it's one or two games, I don't care. If we're doing it for the whole catalog of Game Pass, then yes, it defeats the purpose.
I think it defeats the purpose if even one goes over. But
especially Hi-Fi Rush.
But I want to get Hargeet. But before we go, Dusty, let's let Hargeet go. So I'm gonna let him go.
So a couple of things, right? So Hi-Fi Rush was the first new IP that came to the series consoles, right? It was the first new big thing that they put out, right? It was going to be Redfall, but it turned out, hey, they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush. Critically acclaimed, well received, possible Gotti nominee type game, right? But came out in a year with a whole bunch of games that were ridiculously good, right? So fair enough, it didn't quite make it to that bar, but still it got an award, right? So really good game. Why the heck would you take that first game and say, oh, well, now we're going to make it multi-plat? So we're not going to have that specialness right there. Garuda pointed out, hey, this could be another, big face of Xbox games. Yeah, it could. It could very well be. There are probably going to be sequels for this game, right? So why put it somewhere? The point you brought up, Umbra, is that, like, why do we just give, right? Why does Xbox just keep giving?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the receive, right? If we give you Hi-Fi Rush, why don't I get Animal Crossing? If I'm going to give you, Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation, bring Spider-Man over. Yep. Like, give me something. There's nothing. True. It's always give. There's never a take. There's never a receive. And I'm kind of sick of that, like, kumbaya baloney. It's like, no. You need to get to a point where your console competes well enough that this is an okay thing to do. It does not. Your console's a pathetic joke. That's just a reality, right? 3-to-1 sales. That's what happened, right? No, you need to get to the point where you say this is a compelling enough platform where these games are really good. You need to come to the platform. And then you suddenly start sabotaging that. As far as the Sea of Thieves thing, here's the problem. The average PlayStation player is either a casual player that's going to play Fortnite, Call of Duty, Apex, something like that, right? They're not going to play
exactly. Yeah.
They're not going to play anything beyond that. Or they're a PlayStation player where they play those, sad dad walking simulators. They do not play multiplayer games.
Yep.
They just don't. So they're not going to buy it. They're not going to buy the game. So, 30 million players played that on a console that sells way less than their competitors. We
I've never
play
played
those.
Sea of Thieves, so I don't know why you keep saying buy the game.
But I mean, what? Sorry.
What were you saying, Dusty?
I said I've never paid for Sea of Thieves. I can understand that argument for Hi-Fi Rush, but I've never paid for Sea of Thieves. I only get benefits through Game Pass because I have Game Pass, but
Right.
I have
No,
not
fair
had
enough.
Game
And
Pass.
they won't have that on PlayStation, right? They won't have that on Nintendo.
Right. They have to buy
Now,
it there.
Nintendo.
This is a free-to-play game. Like, I don't understand.
No,
this
Sea of Thieves is
argument
not free to
Sea of
play.
Thieves
No, Sea of Thieves is not free
it's
to
not
play.
free to play.
It's not free to play.
I've never paid
It's
for
a
it.
paid game.
No,
But
you
you
have
have
Game
Game
Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
No, even when my Game Pass wasn't active, I was able to play Sea of Thieves. I never had an issue.
I don't.
I'm
If you go
pretty
on
sure it's
Steam,
not
you can
free to
buy
play.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
Steam.
yeah,
I'm talking
it's-
about Xbox.
I don't know, man, but it's purchasable. You
I
have to
don't
buy
know about
that
that.
on other platforms. Like
You'd
Steam
have
is
you'd have to pay
purchasable.
for it, and so if you're a PlayStation player, you'd have to pay for this game, and I just don't see them doing
Well,
it.
okay.
They don't do that. They don't play multiplayer games, which is, by the way, their problem when they're trying to put multiplayer games on.
Exactly.
You know, they're trying to flip over to multiplayer games. Like your
Exactly.
players don't do this,
That's
which is
not
why
even
they're
their
going day and
style.
date PC.
Exactly.
No,
Right.
that is true. That I don't disagree with. That is
So-
true. I'm just
So
saying if
I
it's
don't see
one
the
or two
point of
games, I
putting
don't
it
care.
there. Sea of Thieves on Nintendo is a possibility. It could be kind of cool. And Hi-Fi again, same thing on Nintendo. I think it might do okay, but I just don't care to do it. I think they should come to Xbox to play those, or go to PC. That's fine. You have cloud.
Mhm.
That's fine. Use cloud.
Sure.
But like, look, Microsoft offers you all these options, except for Nintendo and PlayStation. Why does it need to include those? You have you can get a freaking Asus ROG Ally. You could get, a Steam Deck and play those games. Why does it have to be freaking those two platforms? No, I don't care to hear about why these things need to come to other platforms.
Yep.
And the problem, like you pointed out, Dusty, hey, if it's just two games, who cares? The problem is they are saying they're looking to go third party, and that's from their CFO, right?
Yeah.
They're saying that they expect to take this and put everything on every other platform. So when it's Master Chief Collection that jumps ship over to PlayStation,
Mhm.
That's
you're
what
going to
I
be
have a
happy.
problem. I said that earlier. I said if
Right,
it's one or two
so-
games, fine. But if they do more than that, that's a problem to me.
And
I
then
said
that-
earlier.
But that's the
That's
slippery
where I'm
slope,
at.
though. See, that's the slippery slope, right? So then you could argue, well, why not this other AA game they're making? Why not this game? I don't think
Why
they
not
should.
Indiana Jones?
Exactly. They should never set the
Wait.
precedent.
No.
I don't think there.
So that's
I
the
don't
point
think-
I was making.
I don't
know?
think there
Yeah.
should be any precedent set that goes against what he originally stated, which is that there is no games that are going to appear on
Yeah.
other platforms outside of Game Pass. Now, if
Game
PlayStation
Pass.
and Nintendo want to bring Game Pass to there and get a curated Game Pass selection, 100% fine with that. Otherwise, our games should be over here on this platform because exclusives
And Umbra,
matter.
I'd even be happy if they did the quid pro quo and said, okay, we'll
Absolutely.
take Spider-Man,
I
we'll
will
give
take
you
that too.
something in return.
Yep.
Fair enough.
That's my point. I speak
Right?
against this
I'd be
rumor
happy
in
with
defense of right. I speak against this rumor in defense of the Xbox console guys, right? I'm a PC gamer. I can go on my PC and I can play Hi-Fi Rush, which I consider a new Xbox mascot. But then I can jump across and I can play God of War on my PC. I can play Spider-Man on my PC. But if you're a Xbox console gamer, you can't do that. Your mascot is on everyone else's platform, but you don't get to play Mario. You don't get to play Spider-Man or God of War. That's the problem. They've already diminished the value of their console by making games day and date on PC, right? We accept that. Okay, move on. But now you start removing games that can be played everywhere else, but you can't play everyone else's games on your console, which is should be the centric
Not
focus
for
of your
that.
Xbox platform.
I agree with
Nah,
it too.
nah.
Yeah.
And the other thing I hear people bring up is that Phil did also say on a case-by-case basis, but what he was talking about was games that exist already.
Mhm.
We will have a case-by-case. So if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, it's case-by-case. He
That's
might
right.
decide it's exclusive or not based on where he thinks it is, right? If there's a remake for Oblivion, that game does exist on PlayStation. Should they say, oh, well, in this case, hey, you've already had it. You know what? Let's put it on PlayStation because you've already had it. That's the case by case.
Yep.
And I agree with that. I don't mind that. If Oblivion remake comes out and goes to PlayStation, fair enough.
Yep.
Right? Because that game did exist there. Okay, I'm okay with that. Like the Skyrim Anniversary Edition, I'm okay with that. You've had the game, no problem. Here you go. You can have the Anniversary remake. remaster, right? So I'm okay with that case by case. Not a brand new IP, the first brand new IP you have on the freaking series consoles. That's
agree
not
with.
what
And
I want.
not only a brand new IP, a brand new, well received,
Exactly.
multiple award winning new IP.
Yep.
Like that, you don't just give that away. That's not what you do. And to Karuta's point, you're right about that being like a new mascot of sorts with Chai and 808. Like you don't just give that away. You don't do that. That's not how you build up your brand, and it's counterintuitive actually. Danny, did you have a thought on that specifically? Now I want to say this too because I see some of the guys and I saw this in other chats. Guys, that's a rumor. Why we talk? Guys, family, we talk about rumors of stuff all the time. All the time,
because I'm on their side of it, where like I don't believe this, right?
Yeah,
like,
it might not be true.
I understand,
but
yeah,
we should be able to discuss it
because it's a fun conversation. Well, maybe not a fun conversation, but it's like it's an important conversation to be had.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's like I don't think people should put any stock into this rumor yet, because like first, I mean, nothing's true until it's true, first of all, and then the other part of it is like. There's no consistency in this rumor at all. Like everyone is saying different things. No one can agree on what platform it's going to or what game it is or like when it's going to happen. Like every single noun involved in this rumor is different depending on who you ask. And it's just like, I don't know. It feels like every other time that I've seen a leak that was credible, everyone was saying the same thing. In fact, most of the time when it's a true leak, people are so confident that it's the true leak that they don't actually even say anything. They just like tease it. They'll be like, oh, I've been watching these old Marvel movies and it's a picture of Blade or whatever, right? Like that's usually how these things actually happen, right? And when you look at the people who are like talking about it now, a lot of the people who are being like, oh, I think it's this, it's this thing where like they'll go on their podcast, like for Jeff Grubb, for example, he said he was like, he heard this rumor and he was like, oh, well, I heard a while ago that they were considering maybe putting Sea of Thieves on other platforms because it was like a live service game. And then 400 other articles get launched where it's like, Jeff Grubb confirms Sea of Thieves going to win. It's like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't say that.
So true.
And it's like all these things. And I think it all rolls back to this dumbass like fanboy thing of like, oh, well, Xbox is going third party. And I think the first rumor started because of that, because it's like someone said that in order to like get clicks, and then everyone was like, oh, well, like that maybe kind of connects with this thing I heard 500 years ago about nothing.
Right.
And then everyone is just like spinning off into their own different directions, and it, like that's just what it feels like. There are things that like they have published that could go other places that I wouldn't be upset about. Like I think people have brought up like, oh, Psychonauts 2 is already on PS4, so it went to PS5 or Switch or whatever. Like whatever, it's already on PS4. It's not an exclusive already, so I don't care. Like there are things that fall into that ballpark, and there are even new things that they could put out that I wouldn't be upset if it went other places. Like if ZeniMax Online announced a new MMO and it was also on PlayStation or whatever, like that's fine, it's an MMO, I don't care. Like all the stuff that Bungie is going to do is going to be multi-platform anyway, so like there are exceptions on every side about these. Well, I mean, not Nintendo, but there's exceptions across the board of like what is and is not exclusive. The thing that really pisses me off about this whole situation is that every time Xbox announces a game, all these knuckle draggers are out in the comments being like, but is it coming to PlayStation? No, is it coming to Nintendo? And then these other people are like, oh, well, this is Xbox's fault because they don't market, like they don't like make it clear enough. And I'm like, I look at their actions and across the board, like they act the same every single time. It's like if it's a game, if it is a first party game, it's exclusive. The only things that they've ever published on other places were either things that were already contractually obligated to go there, things that are like, I mean, like the Oblivion remaster, if that goes other places, I wouldn't be shocked about that. Or it's things where it's like, it's like Ori or Cuphead or whatever, where like they don't, I think they own those maybe, but like they were just publishing into like second or third party, so like those things go other places. It's like most people in this community, I think if I showed you a list, like if we had it leaked, which we had part of it leaked, but if we had the whole thing leaked of all Xbox games that were coming for the next 15 years, every single game that they were going to have exclusive to any extent, or even just games that they were going to publish, I guarantee you everyone in this chat could look at that and with like a 98% correct percentile tell you exactly which ones are going to be exclusive and which ones are not going to be. Right? So I don't believe this argument of like, oh well, they haven't been clear about it. It's like maybe they aren't saying it every single time, but I don't think they should need to. Like no one else,
agree.
like whenever PlayStation puts out a game, we're not like, oh, is that going to Xbox? Because no, it's not. No, it's not.
And Danny,
like, we
to
were
that,
surprised
you know
when
what?
it was Bungie.
To that point, that's exactly why they should not delineate from that and start putting games elsewhere like that.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree, and that's another reason why I don't think it necessarily makes sense. I don't know that I would be like personally mad by it because like I don't know, I'm not that invested. I guess, but like it's not like I don't know. I don't think it necessarily makes sense. Like I don't think the rumor makes sense. I don't think doing it makes sense. It's just I hear a dozen rumors a day. It feels like, and this is one that I don't understand why it's caught such huge airtime because it's like
because there are enough reputable
right.
people that are saying it.
Jeff
right?
Grubb, Steven Totillo.
But they're not saying it though. They're saying that they heard this other thing and it could be that, right? So they're like
but
they're
look,
hearing this
normally,
first rumor and then they're saying something else, and then a bunch of other articles are taking the thing that they didn't really
That's
say and
fair,
being like
that's
confirmed, hard confirmed.
Yeah.
Right. But look, usually Aaron or somebody will come out and say that, hey, this is not what we're planning to do. We have no
that's
plans
what I
to
need.
do. Right,
Yeah.
just like be clear about it. Like, yeah, there are no plans to put any of these games. I don't know where this is coming from. Right, like just that just takes care of the whole problem. Right.
Yep. I want them to definitively quash this rumor because I think it's significant enough that if it was to eventuate, it would eventually signal the end of the Xbox console because it would become pointless. Right?
I don't see that. I think that's a very premature, dramatic take. I'm sorry, and not to be disrespectful.
It wouldn't immediately happen. No. That's cool. But what I'm saying is you've already diminished the what is it? The value of the Xbox console already by putting games on PC, and then by taking away exclusives that you could use on that system only, you are then saying to yourself, why would I buy an Xbox when I could just buy a Switch or a PlayStation, right? So eventually, they're already being outsold 3-1. It'll be 10-1, and it'll be the point where R&D won't even be worth it for the console to make a new one.
It's a dangerous game
right?
to play.
That's what'll happen.
I don't know. From the people that I hang around, like it's one thing to be an insider in the industry and pay attention to things like this, but when you're just around people, I don't really like when I go and buy accessories or this or that for what I need. I'm seeing people buying consoles, and there's never a thought process about the fact that these games are available on PC. It's always, should I get an Xbox or a PlayStation? So I feel like because we're on the inside, we think it might be like that. But when you really look at the consumer, like, yeah, Xbox is getting outsold 3-1, but at the end of the day, it's like people are still buying consoles. And so at the end of the day, when it comes to console sales, who really cares? Console sales is not the bread and butter of their business.
I agree.
Okay, let's take your argument there and say, let's take away the PC aspect of it then.
Yeah, of Sony PlayStation, it might be their bread and butter, but
no, you're right. There, you're absolutely correct. It is this PlayStation's bread and butter is not necessarily Xbox's. However, if you are an uninformed consumer, we are hardcore, so we understand all of this. But let's say you're not, and you happen to go out there and you go into a GameStop, and a lot of them are Hoove brothers too. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm just being honest because I've gone to plenty, and plenty of them will try to put down Xbox and big up PlayStation. I've seen it time and time again. You have them tell you, hey, you got all these great games. You got God of War, you got Spider-Man, you got the Ghost of Tsushima, everything, et cetera, et cetera. And
Hi-Fi Rush.
You got Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves and all these other games that Xbox has, and they come over here too. Are you going to go say, I'm going to get the Xbox, or are you going to be more inclined to get the PlayStation? You see what I mean?
You're getting the PlayStation, bro. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
That's the problem. That's the problem because then you're not subscribing to Game Pass. Now that's
exactly what my next point was going to be.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that at all. I see what you're saying with that point. I guess
that's how the console it eventually becomes pointless. And I'm not saying overnight, but eventually it will become pointless because of irrelevancy. Okay, you can't compete that way. You can say, well, on PlayStation you got Hi-Fi Rush, God of War, Spider-Man. On Xbox, you've just got Hi-Fi Rush.
Exactly. It starts to look. It
starts to. Look at Xbox like that. That's the thing.
Like, yeah, but you know better. See, you know better though, right? But like if you're uninformed,
you're informed. Yeah,
exactly.
You're right.
But just to say, so we got to close this out. I want to get to these super chats really quick. Splendiferous drops a $2 donation. He says, Hargeet is 10,000% right. Your loyals will turn their, I think he was saying their back. Absolutely. Thank you, by the way, Splin. It's Shane Bailey who will be with us next week. What's up, Shane? He says, hey fam, note on Indie. Let's check this out, guys. He says, Bethesda leak showed they expect $230 million in the first year, more than they expected for Redfall, Ghostwire, and Deathloop. So definitely AAA. Okay, so that alleviates that fear already. Good knowledge on that. Thanks, Shane. Spartan661 drops a $4.99 donation. He says, just send Sony Activision game as a service games to keep the regulators happy. And same with the Bethesda games they already have, not new IP because they are ours. I agree. There was one question here, or at least one statement here that was directed to you, Hargeet. Don't want to get your thoughts on it. So Shane said, I disagree with you there, Hargeet. 45 million PS players subscribe to PS Plus to play multiplayer games. That was on the discussion of you saying that they don't play.
Yeah, that multiplayer game is Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They don't play anything beyond that. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Like if multiplayer games worked on PlayStation, then they would have no problem selling multiplayer games there. They have problems selling multiplayer games there. That's the way it is.
They signed up for cloud saves, not to play multiplayer games.
I was going to say that.
That's another problem.
I promise I was going to say that.
Literally, the reason I had it was cloud saves. I never played multiplayer games on PlayStation.
Yeah,
I had it because the stupidity of cloud saves being behind a paywall.
That's so stupid. One of the worst anti-consumer things they do is that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I got the PS5, and I was like, "Where's my saves at for this game? Like, where's this at?"
And if you want proof of that, by the way, you can take a look at the leaks that we got from Insomniac. They're deathly afraid of losing Call of Duty because it's several $1 billion of revenue they won't have from PlayStation Plus.
Yep, good point. So there, I felt like that needed to be addressed because I saw it in there, and I figured I knew the answer already, but I wanted to see what you were going to say to that. But shout out to you, Shane. All love, of course. And listen, all love to the panel, of course. I'm glad that, Dusty, I'm glad you have the opinion you have on that. I will say this. Sea of Thieves, for instance, if that were to go to PlayStation and Nintendo, I wouldn't mind that because it's a game as a service title. That wouldn't bother me. It's also old. I do not agree, though, with a new IP, brand new spanking new IP that is obviously well-received, well-loved, won awards, et cetera, could be the mascot for the console, a new mascot for the console outside of Chief, of course, and Marcus and guys like that. And you just say, hey, let me give you this prized possession for nothing. That we can't.
No way.
I don't think Xbox can do that. I don't think they should ever attempt to do that. And again, of course, I know some in the chat are like, these are just rumors. Why we talk? Guys, again, we talk about rumors all the time. Be they good or bad. There's nothing wrong with talking about it. We're not saying we believe them. We're just talking on it. That's all.
The impacts of this rumor being true are so great it definitely warrants conversation.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Because a lot of the times rumors will come up and people will always say, guys, this is just rumors. Why are we still talking about this? Blah, blah, blah. But then like 2 weeks later, a month later, 3 months later, the rumor ends up being true. And it's like, well, that's why we were talking about it.
Right.
This is age, you know?
Most of the time they come true, man. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So, but I do look, Xbox, if you're listening, anyone, please definitively come out and squash the rumor. We really would appreciate that.
Yeah, that would help. Yeah.
If any of you guys are listening to us, I don't know if you are, but yeah, tell us, send me a DM and tell me no, it's not true. No. So listen, we're gonna get out of here, folks. Thank you all in the chat for being here, holding us down. If you have not done so yet, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to us. We would appreciate it. We do want to grow the channel more. I stated earlier that we grew to 2,000. It was a misnomer because I did not read the email properly. It was 2,000 plus views we got just last month. Which is good.
Nice.
But definitely want to grow the channel, and we're gonna state some. You know what, Danny, we need to come together to state some goals. I saw the Black Viking. Shout out to that brother who did a great breakdown of their goals for this year, and I'm like, why didn't I think to do that? Like, I'm behind the ball here. I need to get myself in order. I really thought that was really dope how he did that. He wanted to build up, I think, a certain amount of money so they can go to shows and things like that. I thought that was just really smart and dope and forward thinking how he did that. I didn't think to do that like that, and I'm a little iffy, not iffy, but I feel weird, like kind of setting out a money goal to the our family, a chat and things like. I don't want to come off weird to them. Like, hey, we want to get this much to you. So, but I don't think that's unfair to say what your goals are. So, shout out to Black Viking and them for him and his podcast. I think it's the long. I don't want to misquote the name of it. I think it's Longhouse. That's right, Longhouse podcast. So shout out to them. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you again. So we're gonna start with you, Garuda. Garuda, where can the family find you? What will you be up to this week?
I'm a little bit hard to find because I still haven't kind of decided exactly which direction or even sort of themes or anything of what content I want to do. Real life's been crazy for the last few months, actually, but you can find me on Twitter, Garuda_intruder. Like I say, I haven't got into making content yet. I just really want to be sure about which direction I want to take first before I start. But I'll get there with that. And I'm going to continue playing Remnant 2 co-op with my son. We're having an absolute blast with that. He's, like I say, he's insisted that we play it on Nightmare, and he's got to carry my ass through that game, man. But yeah, it's a difficult game. But man, that is a beautiful game, maxed out on PC.
Yeah,
I'm playing it absolutely maxed out, 120 FPS, and it is stunning.
Nice.
And it plays so well. I really can't believe how much I'm loving that. Like I never played the original one when it came out, so I'm gonna keep playing that, man, and enjoying time. Like my son lives interstate, but he's here on vacation at home at the moment, so
That's
just
dope.
enjoying some family time and stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for the invite. Yeah, hopefully I can come back again, and it's been great talking games with you guys.
Absolutely, brother. I love your takes. You know, we've had you, of course, on the Xbox Infinite, now the Infinite podcast, of course, many times. So, you know, we've become accustomed to you, you know. Definitely, as they would say on RDX, the bench, one of our bench guys, I guess, if you will. So, love your takes. You always have informed, very knowledgeable takes on gaming. So,
thanks, bro.
Absolutely, and that's dope too. That you and your son, you know, getting on this like that. He wanted it on the hardest difficulty. That's crazy because I don't want to.
Yeah, man.
That
He's
game's
really
hard.
good at those games. Yeah, like he played Elden Ring, you know, and
I
stuff
love
like
Elden
that.
Ring.
And yeah, look, I never played it just because I know I can't do it. I need someone there to kind of drag me through. I'm not bad at it, but this
You're not
might be
motivated.
difficult, dude. Like you get one shot at it, and then the backtracking with these games, like going back and go, oh man,
You're not motivated.
and then learning the moveset. It's hard. It's hard, dude.
You're not
It's
motivated.
hard.
You like some games you play like that, and you're like, really have to learn this. I have to get into this. I know what
bro.
you mean. I know exactly what it's coming from.
It's
so
so
I get
hard.
it. I get it. Hargeet, my brother, if we talk about you being hard to find, and Garuda, Hargeet is harder to find. I have to add this to the show notes below, and all of you guys' socials and such will be in the description. I'll do one if you have a channel. Dusty, I know you do. I'm going to add that later. I think I actually did. I added yours already. Never mind. You're good. If you all have any other ones, I'll add it later. I have to add your Discord, Hargeet. But Hargeet, what will you be up to, and tell the family what game, I guess, or whatever you'll be playing this week?
The rest of the week it's going to be until I finish it. I'm going to try to get Persona 4 done right before it leaves Game Pass. That's the plan there. I will be on Go Live, which is our Game on Daily podcast on Saturdays at 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. So check me out there. And then I'm on Fonz's podcast on Game Talk Live is a podcast on Fonz Gaming's channel. That'll be 6 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Sunday.
And that's the newest one, just to throw that out there. Hargeet, if you all didn't know, is now officially the
you co-host now.
Co-hosting
Yeah.
with Fonz.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just wanted to
that's great,
highlight that because he just said it like it was regular. Hargeet just regular.
Yeah.
Like
That's awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
great
Nah,
news.
run that. That's awesome, bro.
exactly.
And then I don't know when the heck RDX comes back. I don't know what dealers status is right now, but maybe sometime we'll get that back. Otherwise, Boom's podcast. It's Double Barrel Gaming is his channel, and that's the Wednesday 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time primetime gaming podcast. I'll be on that as well. So I'm a panel member there as well. So check that out.
Absolutely.
And then I'm H Chani on Xbox, H Chani on Discord.
There you go. We're still trying to.
Thanks for having me here, brother.
No, thank you for coming, brother. I got to you kind of late, and just so the audience would know too, I got to Hargeet late, but he's such a stand-up guy. He's like, yeah, I'll come through, sure. I've been on 18 shows this week, but I got you. You know, so I appreciate that. I appreciate it, brother. And of course, Dusty, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us as well. What will you be up to, and tell the good folks where they can find you?
I will be back in the lab creating and producing some new music and whatnot going on my SoundCloud. So Umbra, I will link you some other time when that
You
becomes
should.
more
You know what?
I definitely.
Sorry to cut you off. I was
I'm-
going to say with your
Thank you.
music, if you could link some, if you got something you want to share, we could play that
Yeah.
while we talk in the background. It could play in the background and
Oh,
stuff like that.
definitely.
Yeah, man.
Definitely, yeah. There's a track I just put up. It's a version 1 on my SoundCloud, but I'll link that to you later when I get version 2 up because I know how I want to rework it already.
Yeah.
I will definitely share that with you. That would be dope.
Okay.
But yeah, everybody can find me on all the socials. There's kind of an issue with my Twitter right now. I felt like changing my personal Twitter back to me and not gaming, and then my G-Wave Twitter is going to be changed back to my gaming Twitter, my personal gaming Twitter, and I'm having issues logging into it. So you can follow me on my personal Twitter. It's at my name is Neo, like the Matrix __ until I get that reworked out, and then I will just put the gaming one out there. And you guys can also find me on Instagram, same tag. I do not mind sharing my Instagram. I am who I am. And you can find me on YouTube in people's chats as of 2024 because now I'm better and I'm happy and I'm back and I feel better and life looks better when you allow yourself to feel better. So yeah, so everybody in the chat, everybody listening, catching the replay, catching the live, as I always say, you know the vibe, and I'm glad you all have been here and just subscribe, support my man Umbra. He's doing great things. I've always been a big fan of his when I got into podcasting, so support the channel, support Daniel McGee, support everybody here, and yeah, just keep on pushing.
Appreciate that, brother. Absolutely. I was gonna say, by the way, with the whole Neo thing, why did you put the Neo? Because that happens to be my favorite movie of all time, by the way, The Matrix.
So, not to get too personal, but my name is Neo came about the idea of the name came about a year ago, and because not a year ago, it came when the recent Matrix movie came out, Revolutions, and I just decided because I like Mike Will Made It. If you're familiar with hip hop and producers, I like I Am Sue and people like that. And so I just thought to myself, my name is Neo would be just a good name to use. And this was more so for like dance and whatnot, because I am a dancer, for those of you that don't know.
Gotcha.
And so it's not just Neo, but the whole name itself. My name is Neo is the name.
Right.
But the personal part is because the love of my life is my Trinity. And that's how I see her. I feel like I would not be here if it wasn't for her. And unfortunately, without her, I tend to say now, my name is Neo, but you were my Trinity.
Gotcha.
So,
all right, that's
yeah.
deep. That's deep right there. I hear you. You said the Mike Will Made It. I got you. Mike Will
You know
Made
what I'm
it.
saying? So I think it's kind of along the lines of that. So that, it's Mike Will Made It. My name is Neo.
If young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. Let me stop.
DJ Mustard on a boot.
Right. We the best. All these different call outs. But no,
But
thank
the
you,
best-
brother.
The best call out will always be DJ Clue, Desert Storm.
Right.
So yeah.
But yeah, no doubt. I'm kind of impartial to Maybach music, but yeah. But
Yeah.
Danny, my co-host with the illustrious hair.
That's me.
And the bars.
Hello.
Where can the good folks find you? What will you be up to? I know you're heavy on the content thing right now. Tell the folks where they can get that content.
My New Year's resolution is more content on my channel, because last year we started this and I started on Boom Show, and I was like, man, I'm making more content than ever, and it's not helping my channel directly, I guess. Like I looked at it and it was like, oh, I went a month without posting a video this last year. Oh, cool, sick, dope. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm actually about to start editing a video that's going to go up either late tonight if I say fuck it, or tomorrow morning. Yeah, sorry, you can find me on Twitter at Daniel J. McGee, or on my personal YouTube channel of Daniel McGee. I'm about to post my favorite things of 2023, my favorite, anime, manga, TV show, etc., video game, obviously. And then probably I'll put something about the developer direct. Don't know why I couldn't think of the name for a second there. At some point next week, and then here we go. Here's hoping. This is the year of grind.
Yes, Grind Fest. Absolutely, you guys.
Grinder.
You guys, descriptions of in the description rather, all the information is there. Please give these gentlemen a follow and support them, and all good men right here. So again, I want to thank all of you all for being here with us. We are going to get out of here. Of course, me you can find on Twitter X, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. I'm on 3 different shows, obviously Xbox Factor with Boom, myself, Danny, and now Steel Rain, who joined us as a permanent member. That's on Tuesdays at noon Eastern. I was at 11 Eastern, I'm sorry. And Thursdays, of course, here at the Fix. Next week, of course, the developer direct is earlier before our show, so make sure you guys get that and come by and check us out and get our reactions and stuff from that later on at night. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern. Fridays, and of course, tomorrow we'll have the MAG coming by, the Infinite podcast. So you guys come back for that, rather. That's 8 o'clock Eastern as well on Riskit's channel. So shout out, like I said, thank you guys, rather not shout out, but thank you guys again. We're going to get out of here, and I have work to do. Later, guys. You all have a good one.
See you.